And welcome back, everybody. Getting ready to jump into our second match of the day. No, we've got Malaysia taking on Vietnam. Mentioned a little bit about kind of what makes this matchup exciting earlier, as we do have another star that's played on the international stages before in Argent playing for Malaysia, but the rest of the players on both these teams, going to be a surprise.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a good thing. You know, a bit of an unknown quantity. It should be good for us as well to kind of learn a little bit about the region, about kind of the more deeper roots of the region itself. I'm looking forward to this. This should be a pretty good game. Of course, in this one, similar kind of format to what we had in towards our first series, where it's just the best of three. Winner of the best of three qualifies towards Chengdu. Nice and simple. There's no other games happening simultaneously or anything of the sort. So all in all, nice and easy. And we come in towards this one with, already kind of from the get-go, high kind of pressure and expectations on the line here, right? It's not like maybe some of the other formats where there's a little bit more teams, where you can maybe have room for error. You can have a slip up in one game and it's not the end of the world. This instance, it's, do or die from the get-go, which I think for me, having the stakes on the line so early on, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a little bit of Southeast Asian action because, this is a region that doesn't often get a lot of players getting the limelight on the international stage. I know in the open circuit we very rarely see players. There's a few legends like Derek and Waste of Ammo and all the rest, but for the most part we don't see those players too much. I know we do in HSG in terms of Arjun as mentioned, and also Olga lives in Malaysia. I guess that counts, and obviously GFI. So the core of that team is kind of in the region, but for the most part, we don't see a lot of representation. So I'm really excited. I don't even know what to expect from Vietnam. I don't think this is a region that I've ever seen play Counter-Strike before. So I'm very excited to be surprised.
That's cool. Let's include the Malaysia roster then. You've kind of already mentioned one in that of Argent. They've also got a coach as well. Wanro is their coach for this one, but this is their team. 80 Ikigai, I think is how we're going to go with that. Hannah, Argent, and Cooking Cat, which I think that's pretty right. But yeah, pretty cool names. I mean, it's always nice for us when the names are simple and easy. We've got a few weird ones over the years of Counter-Strike. The classic, the Steam Authenticator code guy, X5, which apparently is pronounced Zagev, apparently.
Okay.
But X5, 7, whatever, right? That's a caster's nightmare. These are pretty.
All right, well, we've got roles as well, according to what they've submitted. And we've got some fun ones here, Neo. Okay, so we've got Ikigai, who is going to be your lurker. And all four other players are listed as some variant of entry fragger. So we've got... I'm expecting aggression from this team. On the other side of the score, we've got Vietnam, and this is a team that we don't know really too much about. We've got Neko, Sam's, Juniverse, Enstabest, and Naughty. And for the roles, they've actually got some more standard roles. Neo, we've got our IGL is going to be Neko. We've got our Playmaker, so our star player that we're going to be keeping an eye on is Juniverse. And then we've got a couple of entry fraggers in Ensa the Best and Noti, and then Sam's expecting to be a bit more of a supportive element. So I don't know who's AWPing on either of these teams. No one.
Yeah, maybe they don't know either. Well, we were kind of just whoever feels like it at the time. Apparently, so from my understanding, the core of this Vietnam team, so Lubrity, Juniverse, and Neko played on a team called Power Ran Girls, and the last time they competed though was back in like 2017/2018, and that was in the WESG Asia Pacific Regional Finals. They ended up losing to Asterisk Female, who are Singapore side. So so they, I guess in a sense, veteran, right? Been around playing competitively, competing since 2018 and prior in that sense. We'll take a look at the veto though for this one. Vertigo gets banned off the rip, so that map is still hugely unpopular.
Yeah, it's the same bans that we saw earlier.
Yeah,
no one
exactly.
wants to play Vertigo or Nuke.
Do you know what? Fair enough. But everyone's happy to play a bit of Ancient and a bit of Inferno, because that was also our decider in our first veto of the day. Dust 2 though does get banned now. Might get a Mirage here as a decider. Yeah, I'm very happy to.
I'd like Anubis as the decider, and we'll get it. So
okay.
Anubis is very popular in the African qualifiers, so it's good to see it come through, even if it's just the decider. So yeah, again, we've got the same kind of five maps that you expect teams to kind of rotate around. But yeah, it's interesting because I looked at that match between the core of Vietnam and the Asterix Singaporean team, and yeah, two of those maps were never going to come up, Neo, and that was Cash and Cobble. So that's how long it's been since we've seen this core of players kind of play on an international stage.
I mean, Cash, I'm sad to not see that one in the pool. Cobble, I'm actually relatively happy. Controversial opinion. I
agree. I think it was very boring.
Exactly. Nostalgia bias just plagues the casuals on Twitter who think Cobble is the greatest thing to touch ever.
It's
boring
at
the pro
map.
level.
I'll give it that. It had a cool aesthetic.
True. I think in CS2 it would actually be probably like stunning, right? But yeah, you know, pro scene, it was so boring, it was so slow, it was so one-sided, and then in kind of, you know, MM or like comp or whatever, it was just who could fight for drop better. It was just chaos for like the wrong reasons.
Better than Dust 2 though, in my books.
It's actually quite a close. If you had to tell me now, what would you rather play right now, Cobble or Dust 2? I probably actually would say Cobble as well, in all fairness. Dust 2 is so boring. So, yeah, I'm with you. We're right on the way, though, Lucy. Let's get into it. First pistol, first fight and team kill.
Oh, okay, well, it all goes the way of the CTs. Oh, okay, Kat, that's insane. What a sick round from her. 3K coming through. And there's a team kill in the mix as well. We mentioned Malaysia. There was a lot of entry fraggers listed on their squad. And with that sort of aggression out the gate, we can see why.
I want to, you know, maybe you get the replay. I want to double check. I had a feeling that Vietnam team kill was a double dink as well. It wasn't even just one. So just makes life all the more worse there. But hey, yeah, you're spot on, right? One's a lurker. The rest are entry fraggers. And they're making sure that they're maybe on the CT side, but they're still entering. Quick round there, straight back into the reinvestment. Vietnam don't have any money to work with off the back of the lack of bomb plants and kills and all the rest, so they just take a little bit of lesser investment, couple of upgraded pistols, nothing too drastic. Get a bomb plant here though, that's a small positive.
Yeah, and I will note that the second player on the right hand side of Vietnam, I think that's her actual name, that's Noti, just to make it easier for everyone watching at home and for us. So you don't have to pronounce her entire full name during this. So Noti right there. Cat will take a bit of contact. Going to be calling her Cat because that is the name that was listed on... oh no, it is Kissing Cat on the... It said Cat on the actual graphic we had. But I guess Kissing Cat is listed. That's her nick in our little dock.
Cool. MP9 up close for 2, made that 3 actually with a little bit of help as well. Nice and easy. Can we get all 5? Oh, it gets stolen away. It's always the case.
Another denied ace. That's 2 that we've missed out today. I cry every time, but I don't think Malaysia will be too unhappy. 2-0 start. Now, the thing is, you invested the FAMASs. It's 4 FAMAS in the field. That's a few FAMAS that they're fighting with. I was trying to keep the Fs going. So yeah, against the AKs, they're going to have a weaponry disadvantage.
Yeah. The FAMAS is an interesting one. It's a pretty controversial gun, I think is probably the way we'll put it. A lot of people really don't like that one. I don't really hate it that much. I don't think it's as good as the Galil, but
I'm a hater.
People despise it. You despise... Most people just will not use it.
Yeah, I'll take the MP9 any day. I can go faster.
True.
And it's just as strong, it feels. Fight in middle. And FAMAS falls. Who would have thunk it? But Argent will get one back before she's run over. Actually, a double kill from Argent, but the AK's overwhelmed middle. That's a bit more of the kind of set play I expected to see in the match previous when it came to Ancient. Those splits onto middle. 80 will get one back, drop the smoke. His Universe just going to walk through it. Oh, spotted. 80 gets another. Again, a huge impactful round from her. Leaves it in a 1-on-1.
Potentially doable. Oh, Malaysia here. You can't move it up. Made noise though. Swing in the corner. That's a good swing. With the FAMAS had a good fire. University just gets caught in no man's land. Didn't commit to the crossing towards cave. And the bomb, you know, even if she went into his cave, wasn't going to be planted for her regardless. So a very nice retake comes through with the kit. Super easy stuff as a third gets put on the board. I mean, they're made to work in that round, no two ways about it. But, you know, they're coming in with lesser firepower like we're talking about. FAMASs against AKs, and they make it stick. So, very important round to be taken. First true gun round, and Malaysia keep this winning way. I think for us, we really have no real complaints in that sense.
No, that's the nice one we won. A really good attempt from Vietnam. I mean, it wasn't really a good attempt from them, sorry. Let me run that statement back. Good from 80 to be able to call that one back, because Vietnam looked like they'd done enough with that mid-fight. So we do get to see some of the clutch power. Reduce the techies off the buy. They could have actually invested into this and it wouldn't have been the worst decision, considering only one player lived, but instead, they want the weaponry in the next round. And a fight over towards Cave. Argent swings and just mows them down alongside Hannah. Between the two of them, they absolutely annihilate them in lane.
One left. What do you do? Tech 9, half armor, no util, and also no bomb 2. This is probably a done cause already. I'll have to see, but a couple of constellation kills would be nice for the Tech 9, especially if you can kind of get up close and personal, quick on the fly. I don't think it's going to be the case. On that corner, spotted. Sams will get one, which isn't exactly terrible, and a little bit of tag on towards Argent too. 50 seconds to work with. I'm not saying it's a possibility just yet, but at least it's going to make it a little bit easier. But a re-smoke in towards doors. Just keeping Sam's locked in a position where she can't really do anything.
Yeah, it's just not gonna happen. There's just too many players locking down every position. First headshot comes through. Malaysia able to deal with the Tech 9, so that was a really nice little response to that play up through lane. They knew the bodies were there, and they just swung in tandem from both ledge and from cave. Getting that mid control for free early just sets you up for a play like that easily.
Yeah, exactly that. 4-0. Really, really good start. Back into the investment over Vietnam, and another round which absolutely needs to be converted. There's no two ways about it. They've got to come into this and really, once again, lay down the gauntlet. They've got to try and make this work for them. If they don't, we're really going to get into a kind of a bit of an awkward, awkward spot. In all fairness, this is, an awkward sort of situation. Argent, up close. First fight goes her way, but gets traded.
Yeah, good trade from Universe. Just really good spacing to be able to immediately get that. Argent, that felt like she just really wanted that fight early. Does get it. But not quite ready for that second player to be there so quickly. Now in the mid-rounds, where we get to see why Vietnam have picked into this map. They have some pretty good spacing in middle. A split onto A would be a decent setup if they can get past this donut player in Hannah, who stepped up for a double. And that's dealt with most of the split. Kissing Cat finding that one. Leaves it all on Universe, and she is overwhelmed. Gets one before she goes, but again, 3 players living for Malaysia. They build up the bank and continue this run.
Yeah, not bad. Another gun round, which just doesn't really find anything for Vietnam. And, you know, this is one of those things. They're not even getting themselves in towards post plants. They're not getting that bomb down. They're not giving themselves too many opportunities here. And when they do, it's kind of for nothing in the main sense. So a 5-0 start, really, really solid. Like you said, I think for Malaysia, this is showcasing just how good they are as a region. We didn't have too much knowledge about Vietnam, and so far they're struggling. At least tactically, we haven't seen them dip too deep in. This is their map picks. They've really got to make something work with it sooner rather than later. They can't allow Malaysia to kind of spiral for any real more rounds in concession. If they get up towards 7-0, 8-0 start, it might already be done before it even begins.
Yeah, that was kind of the story that we saw earlier as well, right? With the Hong Kong China's just CT side just locked out Mongolia. Despite it being their map pick, your team was certainly prepared on an ancient, common battleground. This time they're going to try and hit onto A, and they overwhelm Cruising Cats. They have managed to find their way through. The smokes are all down as well, so they've got good spacing. Spam through, not going to catch any of these planting players. Anyone on the site. Bit of damage onto Universe, but player advantage for Vietnam in the post plant.
Feels like potentially a possibility. Numbers advantage. He's going to come over though. Double stack up close into his temple. It's a huge one. They can make this one stick on the corner. It might just work for them. Quick trade, but numbers still remain favorable towards the T side. They got to get on towards this bomb. A tap, looking to bait out fight. They might just get them. Oh, but it's not going to make a difference. Vietnam find their first. They find a gap towards A. And that is much better. Now we need to see that a little bit more consistently.
Yeah, Kustin kind of got caught off guard there. You can see she was panicking a little bit as she was falling behind double box and wanted to deploy some utility just to hold out and stay alive. But I think A, she needed to be able to get that utility out or at least get a kill. And B, I think she needs the support from Donut. I think there was a player playing there. There has been in Hannah pretty consistently. And it just came a little bit late. You know, often you'll see that player immediately respond as soon as she calls out that A is being hit. And you'll get that push through the smoke just to support or even just a flashbang to allow the swing. None of it comes. They get the opening kill, bomb plant, and round on the board. And an opening kill into this one. Argent removed. And a nice kill from Neko and Hannah. That's a sharp shot.
Okay. EB, now the resurgence coming through from Vietnam. Last round was decent. This round started brilliantly as well. Those that don't let it slip, this is going to give them a massive ball. So they're going to break the econ over towards Malaysia too. Setting up. If I B, and actually the CT's attempted to rotate away. At least one over towards Temple. In comes that smoke. That should draw their attention back.
Well, defenders are here, but yeah, forced back by the utility. You know, so oh my God, I thought she was going to scale a bit further there with the bomb, which would have been disastrous. It's brought down a little bit low, and they're fighting forward. That was the fight, though. Enders beat. Best needed to get that kill. Otherwise, the bomb planter was exposed. 2 on 4 and ends to beast. Whew, that's a tough one to get out. Is low and lower. Hits the deck. There's a player in short and the smoke is taking its time to fade, so clock is ticking. Kit is in play, but no smoke to cover it up. Just trying to cover it with pure manpower. That's not quite enough. Universe on that flank, able to get the double up. So Vietnam will get 2 consecutive.
Wow. So this is maybe where things start for that T side. Like you said, 2 in a row. And of course, in doing that, it has really dampened the mood in the econ. We are going for a 4 spy, though. This is a big decision. 4 spy here. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this at all. Triple MP9 D going to 5-7. When you had about 2K, it makes you think, why? Why even go for the force here?
They're double loss bonus. It's peculiar to me that they invest here. B9s is at least something, but yeah, it's a move that could come back to bite them. It's just a complete overwhelm on lane from Rap with SMGs, and it works. Great Molotov. That is going to make it really uncomfortable, but a further damage done. A dink onto Samson on long range. They like this from Vietnam. They immediately take the space onto A. Bomb planted.
Yeah. Might still be a chance, though. This advantage. This retake, and Sam's are so low, they might even be able to steal this one away with their questionable force bite. Sending them in. Low HP. They've not got a hell of a lot of time either. Got 1 kit to work with. That falls, they're done for.
She blows the smoke, and going forward, they do have the kit. They overwhelm for another 2. It's all in the ends to beast. In the back line, she's able to get 1, but she's taken down. And Argent, with that kit, will get the defuse off. So the force spy, we questioned it, and while we're made to look like fools as they push down B round with the MP9s, completely catch Vietnam off guard. And then the retake, really solid.
Fair play. You know, it was a questionable force spy. We weren't fans of it, but if they make it work, we can just sit here and hold our hands up and say, you know what, I'll give you that one. Really, really well done in all fairness. And on the other side, will hurt things, not in terms of an econ state as much, but more in terms of a mental state towards Vietnam. They've just lost to a pretty rough buy, all things considered. And just when it looked like they were starting to spiral positively, Malaysia guaranteed the bare minimum are going to be a tie game at the turn of this half. And you know, the way they are playing, the way they keep finding rounds out of nothing, doing spiral for more, but cave control taken early.
You're prioritizing mid where Malaysia, and so less bodies support B. They're just going to fight their way forward. Neko on the late lurk with the double up. Takes a swipe out of them, and she's not going to slow down, continues forward. She can flank them in middle. Might have a bit of cat-on-cat action as Neko versus Kusing Cat, and it's going to be Kusing Cat that prevails. Still that kid on Argent. And a 2-on-3, certainly doable, and Malaysia have shown that definitely keen to go for these retakes when the opportunity presents itself. HE, tickle bit of damage, and a butt revealed. More than happy to take a swipe at it. So 2-on-2, there is a Molotov. That can be thrown forward onto the bomb, but I think it's just going to be thrown straight into short to try and isolate the fights. Doesn't work out. Argent hits another, and it's all in the universe. Bomb being stuck, but it's a 10-second, and wins out the fight, but without the kit. Can she collect it in time? It's going to be down to the wire, and she can't do it. 0.2 seconds.
My God, that is so damn close. And all it takes is just that attention drawn away over towards ramp, and also just the kit being dropped half a step too far away. Vietnam will steal away a third and at the very least respond well off the back of losing towards that questionable force. And now we look at the buy here, and I could probably understand the potential if you wanted a force here. Some of them are in double eco. It's fair enough. The first time out, weren't really too much of a fan. This time, I can give them this one. So they are going to go in for that force here. 5-7's coming through. UMP, which I'm not a fan of, is coming out as well. And in towards mid. It's not great.
Yeah, they really wanted to fight it with some of those close range weapons. It's 5-7 that gets the kill. Now, if they go into A, Malaysia can actually have both their players here. So there's a chance Arjun needs to hit some tags though, needs to do some damage. She's going to be run down. Kusing Cat gets one with that UMP, but it's not going to be enough. So the force buy this time doesn't work out. It was a weaker one than previous. Vietnam, a critical round to win.
Yeah, this game now as well is starting to get competitive. You know, final 2 rounds of the half, and an actual opportunity now for Vietnam to make it at the very worst case scenario, kind of a 7-5, which they should do with, you know, this 5th coming probably in just a mere moment. There isn't really too much of a buy from Malaysia, and realistically a real possibility at getting a tied game, which is already very, very good. With how kind of badly things started, this recovery from Vietnam is actually pretty immense. And Malaysia are really starting to feel the pressure, and they're just going to go quick once again.
Yeah, you know the economy is pretty much in the bin, so why not just put the pace on? Don't allow these pistols to do anything silly. Overwhelm them with the MAC-10 leading the charge. Universe, very impressive actually. I know those are eco frags, but she is top of the board, 12 for 7. Top of the server, in fact. 3 players in Malaysia on 11 behind her. Vietnam within 1 of tying things up at the half and going into the final round. Going to be a little bit of lacking in terms of some of the utility. Won't be a sniper for Malaysia. So Vietnam, if they can get 6, considering they lost the pistol, I think that's a great T-side.
Yeah, agreed. 6-5 heading into this final round. But honestly, yeah, this has been a complete flip. For a while, I was maybe kind of at least internally questioning, why have Vietnam picked this map? Why is this the map that they feel confident on? Now I fully get it. They've understood how to break down this Malaysia defense, and they've given themselves a really decent opportunity. This recovery, like I said, is so damn solid. And it's really now a question about Malaysia. Can they at least take the small victory of taking a lead into the second half, or are they actually going to be going in on a level playing field, which, at least in terms of momentum, doesn't feel too good for them? That's the question I'm holding here. We do have a bit of a tech pause, though, so we can't really answer it, at least just for the moment. Hopefully, only a brief one. I'm going to assume... I'm going to assume it's Arjun who hadn't invested in, but now it's just bought armor, so... At least we know she is kind of here, sort of.
Yeah. She's looking. I hear a tippy tap in the chat. Done well avoiding tech pauses so far, so, you know...
It's true.
I was a little worried. You know, these things do happen when it comes to the online broadcast, but just this one, and hopefully one that's not too long. A lot of players are moving, so I do feel it is just Argent who's bought that armor. So hopefully back into it shortly, but this is impressive from Vietnam, and I think, you know, doubly so considering the last time we saw the core of this team was 6-7 years ago. Like, it's so cool that same team has come back and has been able to, you know, add some new players to the mix and to be showing up today in such an important match.
Yeah. Honestly, the veterans looking very, very good. I mean, so far, this has been a really decent resurgence. And the tech poll is done now, so we can start to once again sort of answer our questions here. I mean, if Vietnam take a 6th, that is such a good recovery, which gives them all the momentum heading on towards what is generally seen as the more favorable CT side on Ancient. And with how aggro they're playing and how crisp they're looking as well, that really could spiral again quite positively for them. Malaysia, I think maybe, took their foot off the gas a little bit too much earlier in towards this half. And right now, it's absolutely costing them.
I mean, 5 is already a great result in my books. So, any more, well, one more would be phenomenal. But yeah, as mentioned, it's a bit lighter, lacking on the util from Malaysia. So they're actually going to be pretty happy at Vietnam take their time with this. They don't have to expend this very limited resource so early. It's going to put some questions in their mind. We're at Vietnam, who have been very explosive in the early stages of these rounds. This time, they really take their time, waiting to see if Malaysia will make that mistake. A bit of activity showing towards A, and it does get some players moving, but there's nothing that follows up from it.
It's quite 50 seconds. First round where it's been kind of no real contact at all in kind of within sort of the first at least 30 seconds. And now we're kind of creeping inside of the 40-second mark, and we're now starting to make a move.
Bursting onto the side, but no smoke on long, so 80 fights forward, and she collects a triple kill. Arjun able to swing for another. A great third kill there. Slight little transfer, continuing that spree. That's B held down. The slowdown doesn't work out for Vietnam. And ends to Best, who is showing she's pretty darn good. Have to indeed be the best in the server to pull up a 1v5. HE will actually reveal her. She gets one before she goes, but that is Malaysia with a 7-5 lead at the half. But a very strong resurgence. You can see those rounds. It was a 5-0 start, and Vietnam clawed it back.
Yeah, honestly, I think there is the small victory that can be taken there, the 7-5, a little positive, but overall, I think Malaysia will probably still look at that half and think, man, we could have closed this out so much more one-sided. We could have made this really considerably more of a massacre than what it actually was. It's still a very competitive game. Vietnam found a pistol here. We are right back on. So, yeah, I'm at least still a little bit concerned about Malaysia just for a moment, but positively for all to see Vietnam making this competitive and back in the fray. Malaysia, though, now onto that T side. Question for them, of course, of they play this super puggy style. They said they've got a lot of entry fraggers. Let's see it.
Through mid, Malaysia will show some presence. And yeah, they're not going to slow down, but there's going to be a lot of CTs present to set them on their way. Nice kill initially from Ensta Best. And yeah, they've just been eviscerated. 3 CTs respond to this aggression in middle. Argent was set up as a lurk. It's not going to work out for her. So, Malaysia, despite trying to show a bit of that aggression they did on the CT pistol, this time they're the ones caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, so 1-round game. Good work. Tried to go just a little bit quick, barreling in through mid. Doesn't work out for them. And now we've got, once again, a game on our hands here, which is good. You know, that first series, it had a little moment where it was competitive, but for the most part, it really wasn't. It was a very, very good showing from Hong Kong, China. This game still feels like it can swing either way. Still feels like it has opportunities to go in any direction. Especially now that, well, Malaysia aren't really going to be able to do all too much in this one. The expectation is this should be a 7-all game, which is pretty sick. Flashing towards mid. MP9 and the M4 going to try and just mow them down, and they do it flawlessly.
Yeah, you would have liked a few more of those kills to go the way of the MP9, but I think Ensta Best is just happy just to farm 4K for her. Oh yeah, we are all tied up. Vietnam, that's what they needed. The pistol round, and it just goes from there. Malaysia will get out the rifles into this round. They would have loved a bomb plan into that one, which is why it surprised me to kind of go towards middle. I've been liking the tendency on the second rounds to try and hit A, because it feels like that's the site that's the easiest to get the bomb down. So going into middle, I mean, there's no bomb plant there. Like, it's just not, you're not going to get past the players and the response from the CTs.
No, you're absolutely spot on. I agree with you. I think, you know, it is kind of not a priority, but it's a nicety to have, you know, because you get that bomb down, you just get a little bit of an extra cash bonus. It means, you know, for example, you don't have to have a Galil coming into this next round if you want the full belt util. You can go into the full AKs across the board, the premium rifles, and not take that big of a hit. But for the most part, it is what it is. At least we got another tech pause. You kind of hate to see it. The thing is, I don't understand who, you know, in this sense, because it looked like everybody was moving, at least on the minimap for a bit, and everyone's obviously, sorry, they're still got the same guns. I'm going to assume it's over towards Vietnam, because Argent's bought in this round.
Yeah, I mean, Universe hasn't moved. Oh, there we go, moved. So they've all moved on my screen, on our screen. So, you know, that normally if people are moving, that's good.
It's a good sign.
Often, yeah, it means things are normally working.
Looking at Sam's now. Sam's, I need some movement out from you.
I saw Sam's move before.
Okay, that's good. Well,
yeah,
there you go. Well, who knows? Well, then I guess maybe it's over towards Malaysia. I mean, Argent did buy, though, coming in towards this round. But then I guess maybe he's a ping issue off the back of it. Who knows? Hopefully only a brief one. We can get back underway. And hopefully it's not a sign of things to come, right? Where the tech issues might plague. But I guess for this region, it's only one best of 3. And then we do actually have a relatively actually sizable break between this game and the next, I'm right in saying. And that one starts about an hour after, even if we went towards 3 maps, roughly about an hour after when we would most likely finish here, bar any technical issues, of course. So, yeah, for those who don't know, that game is going to be Kazakhstan taking on Kyrgyzstan. That's going to be a pretty cool game. Not a qualification best of 3. They are in a bit of it's a 4-team kind of round robin type of vibe. Yeah, only one team right saying qualifies through there. So
yeah, so there's like 4 teams in the Central Asia region that will be in that round robin. So only one of them will make it through, and that's a pretty stacked region. Those 2 teams that we're covering later are the 2 strongest. So in my books, the winner of that should be essentially qualifying, unless some crazy upset happens. Just looking at the kind of rosters that are there, you expect that to happen. I mentioned Pocha before, and as well as Jammy, but there's a couple of other players. Miyu used to play for VP. No, sorry, not VP. Yeo went on to join that one-wing gang team with Pocha. One of my favorite teams. Sadly, I think they've pulled out, which is a bit sad. But they had the coolest like jersey. It's like a bomber jacket.
Bomber jacket. I did. Yeah.
If you look at any of their players on HTTV, you'll see the bomber jacket in play, and it's super cool. They did a really cool announcement video. So
the announcement, I was gonna say, that was very good video.
So a couple of players that have like played together, which is really cool, on that team are playing here as well. So you and Pocha, teammates again.
Well, Famas is going to be playing up close in towards that donut. Spotted out. Car takes a bit of a fight. The nade could do a good chunk. Not as much, but the rifle will. The Galil finds the first.
A little bit messy, but they're getting the job done on the CT side. Well, for a moment, Argent tries to alleviate and needed that kill into Neko. That was the critical one, because that's the bomb now given over. Smoke forward. Actually might allow them to pick it up. OHP on 2 of these players does make it a little bit difficult for the CTs. But no, the bomb still inside, and that's a big kill. Sam's found. Neko is still low in cave. Hence the best, again, going to be relied upon to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Now, there's 2 smokes in the T's. All they need to do is drop 1. Yep, isolate that fight down towards ramp. Don't swing on it, though. Wait, where did the smoke go?
Yeah, what? Okay.
What?
That one will make it down. Yeah, I'm with you. I was kind of looking at the minimap, trying to figure it out.
Did it fall through the world?
If we have, don't know what prod on the spot here. If we have the replay,
where did it go?
It didn't plume, which is the weird thing.
No, I think that's why they swung, because they're like, okay, the smoke's down. We can swing in a second, and the smoke's not down. Bizarre. I mean, that's unlucky. Well played from Neko, though.
Yeah, I might have to rewatch round 15 to see what happened there. Okay, that was a weird one. In the end, though, it's Vietnam who've taken a lead on their map pick. That's all that matters, at least in our eyes. They've got a lead, and now it's their time to work with it. They've got to try and build upon it, give them the foundations. Malaysia are into a buy, and they're in towards the site.
Nice shot from Best. Gets 1. You're right, they found their way in, but the CTs are suffocating. There's just nowhere to go in the post plan outside of A main, so IKEA wants to fight forward. Neko will get the trade. Argent with 1, and the spam through the smoke. goes even. So 2-on-2. Sam's still present in Donut, but they don't know where Juniverse is up to. They know she is a B player. Taking her time, Sam's capitalizes as the smoke fades. And it leaves it to Argent. Most experienced member on this team. Spotted behind double. And it's an awkward fight. Juniverse just darting in and out, not making it easy for her. So Vietnam will pull off the retake.
Yeah, and this is now where they're giving themselves so much room to work with. I mean, I already feel like potentially Malaysia, while they may have started strong, they actually don't have that sort of maybe depth around them. This is a tough position they're putting themselves in now. They're making some of these rounds close, but, you know, fundamentally, it's not working out when it matters most. It's rough. It really is rough. But got to give credit as well to Vietnam. You got to remember at one point they were so deep in the hole, so many rounds not working out for them. And at least they've managed to pull this one back into a real conversation point. 2 rounds the lead. Getting not too far away. Back into a bye here, however, for the T side. And they've not got a huge amount left in the back pocket. They've kind of got to make at least one of the next 2 full buys stick and actually try and build some consistency off the back of it, or they are going to be in pretty serious trouble.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by Vietnam. Remember how they lost the pistol to open up this map. And they've really built their way back into this. Take the lead, in fact. Bit more defensive this round. They allow Malaysia to take the space over ledge. They will be trying to push through middle. Sam's the head of this smoke that's thrown by hand, so it's actually not particularly useful at all. Hence, Best can even swing it if she wants to.
Well, got me in control. It's about where do we go from here. Getting caught in rotation is definitely not something that's going to help. Isolated there as well, so just nobody even able to trade out for Cooking Cat. It's tough.
She's good. Peak. Not quite there to follow it up, though. I like the idea. It has put it back into evens, and they continue to progress forward. Is she going to walk through the smoke? No. But Best has an open fight onto another player. Now she pushes through the smoke, just charges in. Neko caught off guard. And the comms maybe not quite there because 80 is able to capitalize on another kill, eventually put down by Best, who's maybe the sharpest shooter we've seen today. She's not done yet. Ready for this peek, sees the body and gets the kill, picks up the rifle, and it's all into Argent once again. First is hers. Falls back and doubles up. Argent clutches it out, pulls it back despite Best's best efforts. It will be Malaysia finally breaking through.
Oh man, that is a cool clutch coming through and so necessary for Malaysia. If they had lost that, I think that's probably once again where we look at it and say that might be game over in terms of their mental state. You know, they've had so many close rounds, but continuously losing them is the killer thing for you. That one, once again, spur the back on to keep this game competitive. 9-8. Wow, this isn't bad at all. In the corner. It's the best behind. Lines up both for the run for the Flames.
Yeah, second player, just not really the flashes or anything to support those fights in middle. Best 23 kills. Yeah, it certainly is. Double flash. Smoke as well, sorry. It's all a distraction. Universe just slips in CT. Overwhelms them. Arjun was going to be that late lurk, but doesn't even get to play the round. Vietnam, after losing that clutch, straight back to winning ways.
Yeah, just making sure that there isn't a conversation to be had there. There is no doubts in any of our minds of who is the team to keep their eye on. First that's cracking towards double digits. You're 2 rounds ahead now. You're getting ever closer to seeing your map pick over the line. And then when you head towards Inferno as well, from what we've seen out of Vietnam thus far, the expectation is if they can close this map out, especially in a relatively comfortable fashion, that would be such a positive sign towards Inferno because they're winning a lot of these rounds based off what is quite raw, fundamental kind of Counter-Strike, right? Taking fights, they're winning out their Angels, they've got very decent neutral off the back of each other. I mean, it's things that on a map like Inferno, if you've got it locked in on Ancient, you can really, really shine on a puggier map as well. Pistols here from Malaysia. This could potentially start to be the beginning of the end, and the lineup ends the best. Another double for free.
She's everywhere. Mid, B, Donut, you cannot get away from her. Universe gets one as well. There's a kill back from Goose and Cat. They'd love to get the bomb down. Perhaps in this smoke there's a room to do it, but no, there's so many CTs. They're everywhere. It's a lockdown. Best on for the 30 bomb at the moment. 4 kills shy of it, and with the way she's playing, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it.
My God. I mean, even as well here, if they got that space in via cave, it would give them a chance at making that round something out of nothing, but it's the best having these really, really light up moments, having these continuous showings of where, you know, multi-kills come through, and untraded multi-kills too, I think is the big thing for me. And, well, 11-8. I think, Lucy, probably the way to put this is the final hurrah, right? This is the last spy. If Malaysia can't make this one stick, that is it. You know, bar maybe a little bit of leftover money in the loss bonus, but I think more, again, if you get Vietnam on towards map point, they are just going to see this off because they've been a better side. No matter what kind of buy you bring towards them, whether it's half buys, low buys, or full, Vietnam are showcased, especially in the second half, just how strong they are. Buy-in, Arjun had 6.7k or something like that, no AWP, so that's probably more or less confirmation that we're not going to see too much AWPing in this game. It doesn't seem like either side are all too kind of preferential with the big green.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we didn't see it for Malaysia, because I think that could definitely be a punish, because Vietnam just aren't rocking that sniper at all. But the T-side economy's just not been there to support it. Universe is now just walking down and finding fights, so that's her 20th. Right-hand woman to Best.
Bad. 1 minute 20 now for Malaysia to kind of make a decision. Right, we've lost the opening fight. We don't have the numbers. How are we going to make this round stick for us? 3-5. They go towards shelf. They go back in towards mid. And there's one tucked towards box. It's a lovely little crossfire here. All they have to do, the second they drop out from shelf, they should be dead on arrival. And they are. Oh, no. This round might already be done before it even starts.
You know, you'd had a quiet one, but that double up. Gonna be doing a lot of work, and oh, can't quite deny the bomb. The Molotov also bounced off the wall, so actually doesn't disrupt the plant. And back in the back lines, Hannah will get one. So 2-on-2. And Cruising Cat finds another. So it's all into Neko. First is hers, and knows that final player was close by. Flashbang forward. Cruising Cat's just playing behind default. Tucking down. Neko is aware. Can't quite convert the kill, but now knows exactly where her enemy is and just trying to run her down. But Cruising Cat will win it out. And he said this round was crucial for Malaysia, the last hurrah, and they will win it out in the 1v1. Yeah, big round to be taken. You know, I actually like the decision there as well on the CT side, jumping towards the MP9, the Tech 9, may I say. Try and get that run and gun fight. It's probably your best way of doing it when you're tucked in towards backside, but well played. Post plant, successful. Malaysia not dead just yet. 2 rounds behind, but Vietnam still find themselves 2 rounds away. You're loose of 13. Still need a pretty big recovery. A similar sort of recovery, in all fairness, that Vietnam had in towards that first half. Eyes up both ways. He's smoking towards elbow. Gonna try and play behind this here. For Malaysia. Win this round here. Hurts the econ over towards Vietnam. Then we're talking about 11-all game, probably. Yeah, this is now a massive swing round and a chance for Malaysia, who have been really struggling on the T side. Even that round didn't start great for them. They were just able to close it. Best though, again, just getting aggressive on the smoke. And the trade's not possible. I think the bomb is in spawn too. I'm looking at the radar and I believe that's it. So Best can completely disrupt things. Oh, the swivel! She gets another. And if she progresses forward, she'll see the bomb. She might already have seen it. She's aware they're pushing towards her. She gets another. Best, more like Beast. She's on for a 30th. One more kill will do it. A triple in this round, and they have to flush her out. They have to find her. They have to fight forward, and eventually 80 will overwhelm. With that 3K, she's given Vietnam the ability to take 12.
Oh, this one feels like it might be already done off the back of individual prowess. And it is to be. As the best. What a round. What a showing in that one. That is absolutely magical. And it kind of single-handedly gifted them that 12. And now it's about them to close it out. But Vietnam Brilliant, brilliant work. Ends the best. Individually, beautiful, beautiful showing. Just 1 kill away now from that 30 bomb. And so deservedly as well. So aggressive, so crisp as well. And Malaysia just cannot find a way to shut her down. Map point on Vietnam's map pick. And considering how they started off this map, this has been a really, really good showing since.
There it is, that 30th kill for Instabest. Kissing Cat offers it up. Don't see a 30 bomb too often in CS2 with that MR12 change. But we get to see that 2.0 KD in play. Absurdity from this young talent. What about Vietnam surprising potentially, and well, certainly have. Malaysia in a 4-on-5 to stay alive on Ancient.
Can they recover what is already feeling like a tough round, especially Mac 10, no armor, Galil, 1 flash. This is a tough one, and they go in for this. Ends the best back sight, hoping to catch a head on the cross. Will drop the bomb though. That might stale the beginning of the end as Sams finds one of her own as well. Arjun will respond. They're buying time. And they're so low, the T-side as well. I think this one is dead in the water. Atti's all that's left. She will fall 13-9. What a recovery, Lucy. I mean, Vietnam started so slowly. It looked like they were going to be a bit of a no-show. And they are right back to winning ways. That's a great way to take your map.
That's a phenomenal result from Vietnam. They were 0-5 down. As you mentioned, a massive comeback required. They managed to score back a pretty decent half. They got 5 rounds in the end, which, considering they were down 0-5, very impressive. And as soon as the side swapped, their CT side was just locked down. So it took a little bit to warm up into the server, but once they all arrived, what a team. I'm so excited to see them play. This is a really cool Counter-Strike from a team we really didn't have much to go on.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely spot on. And it's good to see as well that old core still kind of, holding down the fort as well, right? Last time they played an official on HLTV at the very least was WSG Asia Pacific Finals. That was 2018. So haven't really been, at least on the kind of grandiose international scale since. And they could be going towards a LAN at this rate. Only 1 map away, which would be absolutely sick. You know, you just take a 6-year break and then come back right into it. Crisp as all hell. I gotta commend it.
Yeah, because Juniverse was kind of that second player who's really stepping up, and she was part of that team from 6 years ago. So for her to come back and to be putting out, you know, this sort of firepower. Not that she's like old hat or anything. She's 30. Nothing. That's not too ancient as far as Counter-Strike goes. You know, I say this as a 32-year-old level 10. You know, it's not impossible. But you know, it's great to see. It's, you know, not just relying on those veterans. That we've got this undiscovered talent. I've never seen Instabest play before, but I've liked what I've seen today.
Yeah, and this is the kind of the cool thing about these qualifiers. It gives opportunities to regions who maybe don't get that much time to kind of shine on an international scale. And maybe Instabest now starts to get a look in from teams who are in the region, and teams who are, you know, maybe even competing at the big stage like ESL Impact, and say, well, we've seen her absolutely dominate in this series. If she does well on LAN, if they make it to LAN and she does well there, it's a real conversation that has to be had. And maybe some teams start to look her way and say, you know, she is absolutely farming. So that's a really, really good map. The big hope for us is that she can continue that towards map number 2, that of Inferno. But honestly, with how she was playing, aggressive, puggy, getting into fights, I would be so surprised if it doesn't continue in all fairness. 32-15 is what she finishes on. That's a ridiculous showing.
Yeah, eight assists as well. I mean, Juniverse had a good game. I do want to praise on the other side Arjun, who expected to play well, but I think particularly 80. I think she had a few really instrumental rounds that were able to give Malaysia something to work with. You know, that one T round they got towards the end where it kind of put Vietnam on the point of breaking. That was thanks to her pushing through a smoke, getting a double, allowing Arjun to close. So between the two of them, they were doing a lot. Kissing Cat as well, having some impactful rounds, but overall, they just could not slow down the beast that is Instabest.
You're right. You are right. Malaysia, for a side that we had some relatively high expectations for, the fact that we didn't see it now, I hope when we go towards their map, we get to kind of flex those muscles once again. But it was a tough showing. I think they really lost control of the momentum. The snowball effect really went out of their favor. And once it did, they just couldn't find a way to get back into this. But we'll have to see whether they can. Inferno is coming up next on map number 2. We'll see you all after the break.
Well, map 1, Vietnam take their map pick, and I know that was their map pick, and you kind of have the expectations that teams will win their map pick, but in my eyes that was still a bit of an upset, just because we knew, that this Malaysia team would come through looking strong, but Vietnam, they looked stronger. It's
true. I mean, I've got to give them so much credit, especially considering as the point that kind of we were both bringing up where they were 0-5 down. I mean, that start of the half start of the game was there was nothing on offer. Vietnam didn't look there. They weren't hitting shots. They didn't look crisp, anything of the rest, right? So I was sat here thinking, oh, damn, maybe this is going to be a quick one. Vietnam's map pick is going to get brushed aside. Then Malaysia's going to head towards Inferno, do more of the same. Now the conversation's very quickly changed. The underdogs are playing very, very well. They've done a really solid showing in towards their map pick of Ancient, and the way in which they were playing feels like it should lend akin to a solid Inferno 2. The individuals are crisp. I mean, you got hence the best 32 kills, 15 deaths, ridiculous individual showing, but across the board, so many different facets of where this side found firepower, and I'm hoping we can see more of the same heading in towards Inferno. This is a really cool showing, and they should start on that CT side as well, which is kind of where they seem to do their best work.
Yeah, Inferno is really interesting to me, what Vietnam will show, but also Malaysia. It is their map pick, but I think notably Argent, I expect she'll bring a lot of interesting ideas to this map, because this was a map that HSG were really happy to play. It was actually their first pick for a long time, and I know that it's one that they were really comfortable on. They've taken some big teams down on, so Argent has been a part of the roster when they've done that. So, how much of GFI's kind of learnings and teachings should she bring to the rest of this squad in Malaysia, and, will that eventuate into success in the server? I'm excited to see. I think the lack of AWP on Ancient was really interesting, and I wonder if we'll see that continuing on to Inferno, because the AWP, again, it can have a lot of influence on a map that's so heavily built around rotations, and if the AWP can just lock down part of the map, it becomes really hard to get way on the T side.
Yeah, neither side really felt kind of comfortable using it. I mean, we kind of saw the roles, I guess, beforehand, and they were kind of, nothing was really suggesting that there was going to be that much on AWP, but it is just surprising. Ancient's a map which stands quite heavily to it. Inferno, the same thing. I do hope we see at least a couple of times, maybe, AWP peeking out Banana, have a little look in there, maybe having a look over via mid as well, on that CT side. It can be strong in the right hands, and especially for those who are mechanically quite crisp. I'm looking at you, Ents the best, right? You obviously, the first bullet actually is so clean from her, so with an AWP, could be able to do a lot of damage. We'll have to wait and see, though. We are live. Vietnam starting on that T side, Malaysia starting on the CT side. This one should be really, really good. They're going to barrel in towards B.
A lot of pace. Artie, all alone, is going to get the support. They actually don't continue. They wait for the smokes. That's allowed some of these rotations, but it might not matter. The USP is not hitting through the smoke, and they will find I-80. Now, she had a kit in her hands. Oh, the boot's up. Almost an opportunity for another kill. Doesn't quite happen, and Cruising Cat runs out of bullets before she can take one down, and, well, it's a fast sequence of kills. That leaves it all on to Hannah. Versus 3, and Gush through the smoke, ended by Lin Lin Jiu, who was not here on the previous map.
Ah, very true.
But I think that's just, I don't know.
Keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on that. Who is that? Is the question. Maybe a sub? I don't know. We'll find out.
Necker, that was Necker that was playing that. Like, that was the 5th player.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on things.
Yeah. We'll see. For now, though, either way, it's Vietnam. Off the back of, a T-side start. Oh, my God. They're going quick towards B again. It's a 50-50. It's a gamble here, Malaysia. And, the gamble has not paid off. They've rushed in towards the B side. No one time. It's empty. It's barren. Cobwebs on the corners. And the bomb goes down. A question of Malaysia here. Do you actually even want to give this a go? The smart decision is actually no. Because you don't want to feed the MAC-10s.
Yeah. Yeah, you can maybe hold for an exit from long. Yeah, okay, this is a cool little stack. So an Australia stack in a very unconventional position. So you imagine this will get a kill. This is actually kind of neat. I like it. This is fun. We like fun here. Do you like fun, Neo?
I like a bit of fun. I like a bit of fun.
It reminds me of when...
Unfortunately, there's nothing happening. Look,
it's not going to be fun. Can I tell you a joke?
Go on, tell me.
So a mushroom walks into a bar and he goes up to the bartender. Oh, Instabest went down to the bomb. Goes to the bartender and he goes, "Oh, can I get a pint, thanks?" And the bartender goes, "Sorry, we didn't serve your kind here." The mushroom goes, "Oh, but I'm such a fun guy."
I could foretell the joke happening, and I still hated it. That's a good one. I'll give you that. It's a good start for Vietnam. It's a good time to crack a joke, in all fairness, off the back of basically a nothing round, in all fairness. I think they call this a unicorn round, apparently is what it's called, when there's no damage dealt and a round wind comes through, basically
well, there was damage dealt
going
because
off.
the bomb blew up Instabest. I don't know how that even happens.
Yeah, I don't know what she was doing
That's
individually.
100 damage.
Yeah, she just stayed towards site. I don't really know why. Like, maybe she's expecting like a late push towards it. Who knows? Molotov has ticked so much. Yeah, dead. I mean, Cooking Cat, like, so much information gained, but actually going to get a double.
That's massive. Huge double kill. Surprised she's able to capitalize for that second there. That allowed to pick it up. And now they're going to try and go onto the A-bomb site where there's reinforcements. Yeah, the swing out and this double layering, the boost up onto quad easily locks them out. 80 getting that double kill essentially sets them up for the round victory because it forces them straight into this stack.
What is the play here? Sam's in this one. I mean, it's semi-doable in the sense of 2 of them are low, but isolating 4 fights and basically 3 on towards A side, such a big ask. On towards library. Spotted. Bit of a fight being taken there, but all damage being dealt. It's anything too problematic. Time ticking though. You've got to go down before the timer goes off as well. First. For the second. Damage. Not enough for the kill, but now we'll upgrade to an AK.
Yeah, she's making this a little bit interesting. HE does further damage, but it's not the kill. Our flank's not coming though. And so she's actually given some space to work with, but you feel like this crossfire will be enough. The fact that she takes an extra player down there does make it a little uncomfy for Malaysia. It gets costly. But ultimately, it is the round going their way.
A little bit more expensive than I guess probably Malaysia would have hoped for or wanted, but in the end, it still is a first round on the board, which is good stuff for them. And now we've got to look about on the other side about Malaysia building upon this first round. It will be a buyback in for Vietnam. Not the best of buys in a sense, though. Elisabeth has to full buy back in towards that previous round because she died to the bomb. And now she's for only a deagle. Mac 10, all in and due in this one as well, and a few AKs alongside it. So it's a little bit of a haphazardly buy for Vietnam. And look at the aggression here. Oh my god.
A lot of damage done. And a double up from the Mac 10. They line up. More than happy just to knock them down, but not ready for that third player, Argent, who set up some of that utility. He was able to get a kill back and slow down this strew of players. That's going to reroute them. They're going to be trying out towards A, and last time they did this, it didn't quite work out, but this time around, they've got a lot more players.
This is the big one. Numbers advantage. Looks like going to come out from Balk as well, but they're just barreling up short. Straight in towards the fight. Swing on the corner. Ends the best gets one. One more is back sight, but the FAMAS will double down. Lucy, that's the round. I think you've probably tried to save it with your Argent. You got an AK. There's no point losing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think despite the kit and the individual strength, I think she'd be much happier to save. So this time around, the reroute back to A works out. Able to fight their way through. And that's going to be crippling for Malaysia to win that first gun round and then immediately get sent packing in the follow-up. That one stings. It's interesting their decision to try and fight Banana too, because I think on some level you should be expecting that the buy, I mean, it's your second gun round, and you know that Vietnam probably won't have the full slew of AKs and utility, so I don't know if there's such a requirement to try and fight for Banana control early, and it costs them that round.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a tendency on the CT side for Malaysia to be taking fights early and really get aggressive. The only issue is when you get over aggressive like that and you don't clear cubbies like towards the left-hand side, you are going to be in a costly position. Mac 10 lines up 2. Nice and simple. Completely blindsided by the fact that that was even a possibility to see him for Malaysia. And there is a bit of a knock-on effect. They've got an AK. They've decided to buy around the AK as well, which, again, is a pretty big call here. MP9s, fairly okay-ish Yuto, and another super aggressive play. 2 of them going down, but at least this time they trade.
Yeah, barely. She got absolutely copped one with that HG. It like bounces off her shin. But it is a kill, and it is control. So now you feel like with that deep smoke in play, you're just going to rotate an extra player over to A and hope they don't come back B. And that has been the tendency. 5 banana early, go towards A. So they will have players in the right place, but it's only Hannah that's actually active. They need a fight through from Moto, and they are going to progress. 2 players push forward, but now that MP9 comes out from the apartment, and in the chaos, it allows this second player to thrive. Oh, it's messy. And it's going to leave it in a 1 versus 1. The chaos on the bomb site with the MP9s coming out of every which way has left this in a clutchable position for Argent this time, and she is very fast up short. Push down banana quickly. Will be here before Sam's knows it, but she is holding the right angle and spots her walking straight into it, but Argent creeps under the crosshair and will clutch it out.
My, oh my. That is pretty damn sick. 3-2. And now we start to, again, have a bit of a conversation. These 2 sides keeping it competitive. And this is what Inferno can bring to the table. It's, like we said, you know, fundamentally, it's a very puggy map in its nature. But if the individuals will shine, that's where the conversations will come through. And Arjun, of course, somebody who you highlighted coming in towards this game, somebody who has played at that top level. And in a big clutch of that, they needed a bit of a hero. And that's what they'll get. So 3-2. Vietnam, they're over-invest, which I'm a fan of. They've got a little bit to work around in all fairness. A couple Mac 10s, which potentially could get proactive. And it's the best. Going to get out in front of the flames. This is risky. And yeah, the flash doesn't do a damn thing.
Yeah, easy enough against just these pistols. I think there was armor on those players. Biggest investment is really this Mac 10. Which could still do some damage. And yeah, Sam's going to catch off 1. That's a rifle that falls and is upgraded into her hands. And you can't let this get costly because you've only had 1 player survive in so many of these rounds. So luckily for them, Hannah will find Sam's and even upgrade that FAMAS. So Malaysia now start to build up that economy, which has been getting away from them. And that's why I wouldn't have actually even hated a Vietnam force into that last round, because they did have Malaysia on the brink. And now they're the ones that are kind of clutching at straws when it comes to this utility.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All time square. That was a kind of a round with not too much of an inkling of maybe success coming out from Vietnam. This one, we hope for a little bit more competitive once again. The AKs come out. And against what is, you know, a FAMAS on the side, it's still potential for them to win in just pure firepower. That's something that they've kind of been relying on a little bit, Vietnam, and for better or for worse. AK on the corner trying to fight. Now as the smoke plumes will just dip away. Very good map control, has to be said, from Malaysia, though. They take banana every single round. That might have to be a priority, in all fairness, for Vietnam. But then they're also good in towards top mid, too. So they give the T side sort of little to no opportunity or chances to really make moves. They give them so few choices.
I'm surprised they didn't even drop an extra smoke to Houston Cats to lock down that B-bomb site. They are going to have this double layering on A. Now, this is feeling a lot more like a standard Inferno round. You know, the early control from the CT side and banana. Vietnam are patient, and now they're going to reestablish it. Where you see this push and pull, the utility, the timings, moving CT players around the map. That's the intention here as well, to draw players towards A to show their faces. But Malaysia aren't convinced. Enderspurs will find Arjun, though, on that jiggle, but there's still an extra player in the back of sight. Sam's lurk finds success, but they have to commit to this, and they're going to try and go for the bomb plant. They didn't clear quad, and that's going to be an absolute devastating blow 3 players on the bomb site, but they wanted to stick that bomb down as soon as possible. Weren't thorough enough, and that'll cost them.
Yeah, this is now just the safe call. Elbow to the legs tucked as Asia put another round on the board. This CT side now starting to work together quite nicely. And I guess in a similar fashion to how, you know, Vietnam started slowly in towards their map pick and then really ramped up kind of in the mid to late half. This is kind of what it seems like we're getting out from Malaysia. They started slow. They didn't look all that great in maybe the first few rounds, but the guns have come through. They're chaining consecutive rounds together in a very positive fashion. And keeping that lead is now the main thing for them. All this really has to work is that one saved AK. The rest of Vietnam, a little investment. A couple of grenade pistols, nothing too overzealous. This round shouldn't amount to all too much.
It's going to burst through with the Tech 9s, and they're going to be eaten alive. They will get one eventually, but that's enough damage done. Bomb plant is actually quite doable. In fact, it should be confirmed if they just want to try and get it down. This AK is their only weapon that can really stand tall against these M4s, and she's caught in the open. The bomb plant's something. It's more like on the previous round, which will be a win for them. That's going to be Malaysia extending that lead.
Yeah, one of those. It's a little internal win, I guess, in the sense of a bomb plant will help them out financially. Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. Especially, you know, 7 AK. Money was probably like 600 or something along those lines. It was pretty rough. So, yeah, you're spot on. At least it gives guns across the board rather than maybe Sam's taking a hit with maybe only like a Galil or whatever the sort. But really now a pretty healthy lead starting to build up here. In Malaysia, the way they're playing, when this round here gets 6, money gets broken, good chance of 7. If they can get, in my you know, bare minimum, kind of 7 rounds on this CT side, I think that's already pretty decent. It at least gives you the good foundations. I still think 6-0 can be a little janky. That's a big call to go for a push. But again, 1 for 1, the quick trade back from the T side.
Now we'll get that advantage early. And it's just going to clear top mid by herself. So not spotting anything. We finally see the ult, by the way, Argent. Gonna hold that at B. Go back into these 2 CTs. The smoke onto long. If Hannah can peek ahead of it. Oh yeah, the perfect crossfire. Ooh. 1 kill from that quad position puts it into the 2-on-2. Bomb to be planted and a retake required. Do Malaysia want to go for it?
This is not the easiest retake in the world, especially now with another smoke going down long. Only thing that smoke thrown long, there's actually a pretty sizable gap in it. Realistically, it doesn't matter, as they're already starting to wrap in via short, but his post plant, the position they set up the crossfire is to try and deny a bit of short control. Flash comes over, doesn't really make too much of a difference with the CT side. The Molotov, however, will. Another flash going to come over, caught in transition. Do they expect the second? They don't, but the 180 is huge for Margin. How does she get away with that second kill? Who knows? But it's Malaysia who can continue their victorious way to another round on the board.
Yeah, that post-line position felt fantastic from Vietnam. It felt like it was unlosable, but with the first player going down, the second just felt like she had to fight. I think that maybe if she'd stayed tucked and just hadn't revealed herself and gone for that trade, that it actually might have been doable. I know it's selling your teammate down the river, but the time that Malaysia would have had to have spent just kind of clearing the other positions, you know, going into site, checking that no one's there, and then being worried about apartments as well, I think it could have given her opportunity. Regardless, that's a really nice retake from Malaysia. And I want to touch on Argent as she gets the opening kill with that AWP. Not always been an AWP, but often will pick it up, did pick it up as the second AWP on HSG. Would lock down Vertigo of the time on the B bomb site. As Kusin Cat will lock down the B bomb site on Inferno. A double kill for her. Universe wants to try and fight back. Good bit of damage, and HE does further, but it's not kills. 3 players low, but doesn't matter if they're all standing.
On the corner, Sam's tried to peek out gets caught. Then I just short, and I think that is safe to say probably the end of this one. Universe, though. We're going to kill him towards Argent. I mean, has an opportunity to isolate fight. I don't really think it's going to happen, but Bob on a back, smoking a flash, talking about a kill towards B and a bomb plant. It's not impossible. And a little poking towards mid, Malaysia, spotting nothing. So the rotation coming back from 80 over towards this B site, and a little too slow here. Universal has allowed for a 2-2 split to set itself up. She might be looking the wrong way as well. Needs to keep an eye out for coffins, which peak they might come through in a moment. Especially 80 as well. Waiting for the cross. I don't think this round's going to get off the floor here. And it won't. Nice swing. Nice find. Universe falls. And with only the one casualty, Malaysia yet another confident round here. And, you know, in the same vein that we understood why Vietnam picked in towards Ancient, we really are understanding why Inferno's been picked in here. This looks considerably better from Malaysia. They're playing much more confident. They're understanding how about rotations, how to find these fights, how to make them work. And I think at the moment, Vietnam are really struggling. This is not a map that seems all too comfortable in their pool.
Yeah, it's going to feel frustrating for them this half, because I think this could be, it should have been, in my opinion, a 4-5 lead to them right now.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that doesn't mathematically work out. 5-5 tied up, because there's 2 rounds that I think they should have won. One was the sort of 2-on-2 before, but also there was actually the 3 rounds. There was the Argent clutch as well, a 1v1, and then there was the round where they went into B and didn't fully clear when they actually had the player advantage. Because of the sort of bait setup from CT. So a few rounds that I think it shows, I think, some of that shakiness on the map in terms of playing those post plants and the late site takes, where you are seeing some of those mistakes creep in that we didn't see on Ancient.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. So 7-2-3. Any more from Malaysia? And I think it kind of feels like it potentially could be the beginning of the end for Vietnam. They need to, at least for my books, if they can get up to force 5, it's doable. Any less, I think, is still a little worrying. This is not a round that maybe have the highest hopes for. Teknan trying to rush, though. They're trying to fly in towards fights, and it might just happen, but not in their favor.
Shooting fish in a barrel for Argent. Oh, nice third kill as well. Couldn't get anything done with the Tech 9, so 8 on the CT side, and potential for 9 with the way things are going. Vietnam's T side not quite working out for them this time. And Argent's AWP is, maybe this round doesn't quite count against ecos, but it definitely felt like she's having a lot of influence, and this is what was missing on Ancient, and it's good to see her picking it up here and showing what she can do with it.
Yeah, it's the reason why we called upon the AWP. I think both maps, Ancient and Inferno, as we've just seen in that round, are very good maps if an AWP can get super active and make things look very good. But the big thing for me is on the other side about Vietnam, how they're then going to shut it down. How do they respond? If she starts hitting shots like that, and yes, it was against an eco, but you know, you expect the same level of crispness against the rifles, and it could be worrying. Swinging towards Banana. I mean, 1-for-1. Ends the best trades.
As Malaysia are keen to fight 3 on B consistently. They will come out ahead with Amsterdam limping out of the round. And now again, it's going to be the same situation. You fight early, get a kill, and then rotate the extra player to A. It's been the modus operandi in every round it feels for Malaysia and Vietnam. Fall for it each time. Back to A. A slightly different setup, playing very close to hay bales. A guy looking for the fight around the edge of the truck. Can't quite connect it. Now they know where she is. They can overwhelm, and that's a great adjustment from Lin Lin Gio. Massive double kill, both headshots too, very clean and crisp, and this feels like a 4th.
So, I think you are right. I mean, unless a miraculous retake comes through. Retake with an AWP is never the easiest thing in the world either. Smoking towards Moto, waiting for it to fade. Still, inching their way forward. Another smoke will come down, ends the bench with a great shot. I'm surprised Argent's even going in for this. Feels like there's no point. Oh, final round. What am I even saying? 8-4. Nice and easy. I was completely zoned out of the round itself. But honestly, I think for me, it's still a very, very strong half. I really haven't seen anything from Vietnam, at least in a consistent factor, where I look at this and say, right, they've got a chance of making this. Even if you get a pistol here and start to try and kickstart, I still feel like Malaysia are being playing so well. The individuals looking so good. They're so strongly set up as well. I'm not too sure this is one of those maps that they've just spent enough time working on. I feel like for Malaysia, this is a pocket pick for them. It's one that they're going to have under their belt, one that they spend a bit of time doing server work for, and all the rest, where for Vietnam, it just doesn't feel on the same level, at least strategically right now. And I think that might just continue in towards the second half.
Yeah, and the 4 rounds they got, I mean, half of them were just the pistol in the second round, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of the gun rounds, it's not been theirs. Granted, as I mentioned before, a few of those were nice edge rounds that could have gone either way. Malaysia won all of those, getting every clutch in their favor. And this is an interesting pistol, very slow. And the CDs are just going to drop a smoke in Banana, which is interesting because you only get the one. You know, Universe has bought that along with the kit and drops it just to slow them down. But ultimately, it's not going to matter because it's not like you can cycle them.
It's true. Yeah. Interesting time to use it. It actually makes, if there's a potential for a retake, it's a little harder. Speaking of Util, though, and it comes from Malaysia. They're about to pop their way in. This is going to be a tough old hold for Vietnam.
Flashbang over, and Sam's in the open. Is able to get one before she goes. That was the only player on site. Now, there is the kit, and the smokes are down, so they have to wait for them to fade. 2 players play site, all very powerful positions for the T's. And it's just going to have to be fighting their way through. Double CT, double coffin. A powerful crossfire is established from all of the T's. Fighting out through here is going to be hard. Impool is the first player, and yeah, the crossfires are just too difficult. Really nice post plant from Malaysia. Really impressed with the way they played that pistol.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking like already we could be discussing very soon about heading towards that Anubis, heading towards that decider. Vietnam, tough one. You know, losing that round here. You got a question, do you want to force? I personally am not a fan of forcing. I understand the arguments behind it, but I think also on the other side, you kind of got nothing to lose at this point. You're in the hole, 5 rounds. There's a tough position that you put yourself in. Universe has gone for a little investment. I mean, head armor is kind of a wild one. Especially question, are they actually tempted by? Oh, okay. I think we might have lost ends the best. I think this might be a tech pause happening in just a second, but it does give us more time to kind of discuss about what the play's going to be here. I mean, if they're going for armor, especially head armor for Universe, does that make me assume they're going to go for a buy here? 5-7 come through, maybe a bit of util, something of the sort. We'll have to wait and see. But instead of drop tiles, hopefully we can get a back in. Oh, we have got a back in. There we go. Nice and quick. But yeah, I mean, forcing might be the play here. It seems Vietnam.
When you're this far down, you know, you got a decision to make, right? Do we play the long game, give them that 6-round lead, and then go into round number 15 with, you know, M4s but lacking head armor or lacking utility on a map like Inferno where utility is just so important? I think the force buy in round 2 I actually don't hate if you can make it work, because even if you lose it, yeah, you can see it an extra round, but when that gun round does come around, you know, you can get your AWP out, you can get all your utility, so it feels more comfortable and it gives you that extra opportunity to maybe steal a round away.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But they're not going to do it, so, you know, for all of I said there, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we are going to go back underway. Only the relatively brief tech pause, and then, yeah, 5-round buffer, probably going to be made 6 in just a moment as well. No real investment for Vietnam. This should be Malaysia locking in double digits, and already, I can't lie, 10-4. The resurgence needed from Vietnam feels definitely off the cards, at least in my books.
Yeah, if they win the first gun round, we can start talking about that comeback, but if they lose that one, we can start looking at Anubis. She should expect this round to go pretty quickly. Vietnam spread around the map, seeing if they can catch someone off guard, but with the lack of any upgraded pistols, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen.
You heard it here first. You are right, though. Nothing's happening here. Going over towards B. Just Universe there to try and hold it down. A constellation would be nice. Any more, I doubt is going to be really a possibility. In they come. The util will more or less indicate where they're going. I mean, you can't really do anything if you're Universe here. Maybe pop through a smoke if you really want to try a bit of a gimmick, but nothing's going to change. Bomb will come down. That'll be the round. And even rotations are being held as well. Universe might get one. Oh, a little labored, but we'll get there in the end.
All right, well, it kind of proved me wrong a little bit. You know, I said they just walk through it, but they do lose one. That's it. And that's a Mach 10 that can be swapped over to the Galil, so it's all good. They're actually happy with that. If anything, that's almost a good result.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. 10-4 though. And we are getting ever closer now to the position that looks like it could be potentially the beginning of the end. I think basically the way I look at this next gun round, we don't find it for Vietnam. I'm probably going to say that this one's not going to happen here. I think that's the way I'm looking at it. If you lose this one, Malaysia probably go all the way up towards map point, and then might be game set. In the corner, Molotov's behind it. Only one could go out in front, in all fairness, so this nade could do a decent chunk as it banks off the wall. As much as I would have hoped.
That much damage. There's a lot of players there,
yeah.
But picking around the edge, Universe finds one, and a spam back doesn't quite catch. So it's a good start, and we can see kind of what I was talking about before with the lack of utility. They've expended everything in the first 30 seconds. So there's an incendiary and a flashbang remaining. Which means Vietnam will just have to fight. They're going to have to play active lines, and that's why I like this setup, actually. The boost up onto quad. I wouldn't have minded Lin Lin Jill playing actually under it, but now she can reroute and support a player in short. I think she should really come and join for the crossfire, but Enster Best, tucked in close, can be that supportive player. The Silence M4 strikes for 2. And that's Vietnam winning that gun round. This game's still on.
It is, absolutely. Still on the cards here. That's a big round to take in the sense of just any sort of internal confidence and also the knock-on effect that it has. It's, in quotation marks, a bit of a swing round, we kind of like to call them, just because of the long-term effects it has on the econs, especially towards Malaysia. Now for them, triple Galil, double Mach 10. They got Yuto, which is good, but it still forced them into a bit of an uncomfortable buy. Let's see. But lose this. Vietnam get a 6, then maybe probably a 7th off the back of it too. 3-round game. I'm trying to, puff on the little, the copium here loose, but there's a potential to it.
No, I'm already high on it. After the first map, I was like, you know what? I like the taste of this. Vietnam's got something spicy showing for us, and an opening kill will set things on the right track into this round. This round counts for 2. So we'll reset Malaysia's economy.
It's a big one. That 2-for-1 special, like you just touched on. I mean, if Vietnam are the ones to find it, we're talking about the actual potential of the comeback, the actual potential of maybe even taking this 2-0. If Malaysia find it, talking basically about map number 3 that Anubis already. With map point being on that cards. On the corner. Swing here. Could net a freebie of a kill. They're playing a contact play to catch one, but at least a trade comes through towards Juniverse. A second, though, is not going to happen. Too low on HP.
Yeah, and now Sam's just needs to fall back. Noti saw that wrap was being attempted, so she can come over to support. And that smoke, oh, it's actually off the mark. It's still going to make it a bit tricky to scale, but yeah, you're not going to love how that landed. And if they can find the kill, that smoke, surely that's not what cost them. No, Noti recovers it with the kill. Sabonti planted Argent the 1 versus 3. Smoke gives her actually some room to work with. And the re-smoke on the CT, making it easier for her. First kill is hers, but as that fades, she's exposed in the open, nowhere to go. Noti, a massive 3k. And Vietnam will break Malaysia. The bomb plan is big, but it's not enough.
Yeah, that is a big old round to be taken. Like you said, though, I do think that bomb plan just gives them at least an option if they were tempted with a force it. I would hope to say no. I know they've actually got rounds in arrears where they can maybe tempt the risk. They don't even think about it. Straight into a force buy. Max has refunded, though. I think somebody's kind of Reined in Kook and Cat there said, hang on a second. Let's hit the refund on that one real quick. Let's not go for that. I think this is the right call. I don't want to force buy here. I know they've got rounds in arrears. They've got that 4-round buffer where they can maybe say, right, let's take a risk. I don't think it's worth it. Why not have 2 more attempts at a gun round in this sort of 4-round buffer rather than 1 and maybe a half buy janky sort of situation? So this is the right call. This should be the freebie. We said it's a bit of a 2-for-1 special with this round included. Getting there from Malaysia. Get a bomb plant. We're talking about silver linings.
Lily spots Olin Dew spots a few players in the apartments. Drops her smoke, and it's going to be the Apps pop. Between her and Noti, they've got a powerful position. She moves forward, and they're going to jump over the top of her. But yeah, the crossfire, again, perfectly established. No smoke on Moto either, even allowed the 3rd player to come in. So the attempt at the Apps pop sniffed out early and put to rest. 3-round game now on screen in front of you, which is a pretty decent recovery from Vietnam so far. I'm believing.
Yeah. I'm starting to believe. Now it's only 3 rounds. We're talking 2 gun rounds in between it, but the potential of one of them being a little bit unfortunate if the bomb plants don't come through and all the rest, all the externalities. Lost Predators is building up, and it is built up in general for Malaysia, but they've got to try and find a way to once again break this cycle. Vietnam, times ago for these periods have been on these, slow, unfortunate rounds where nothing's really working out for them. Now, when they're positive, when things are rolling, they're so difficult to play against. That's what Malaysia are facing right now. Only 3 rounds behind. That's reaching distance. Slow around with the T side. They're looking to try and find that opener. Smoke out towards long, one in towards top mid as well. Might be a short play.
Certainly being loud about it. So they've got a little bit of control, but it doesn't really amount to too much. They're going to back off. Does put Vietnam on notice a little bit, and it's going to draw an extra player over, and I think that's the intent. So Vietnam have to either rotate a player back, or they need to scout out and see if anyone is towards top middle. Now you imagine with the short smoke that they're not coming towards A, because that's the space they just gained. Sands is going to fall back, and she needs to hold. She needs to support the rotation from Juniverse, but she's so low. Malaysia are taking their time. The utility will land, but that's allowed the rotations. A flashbang in the hands of Enstabest, and it could be everything. It goes over the top, and it blinds a whole download of them. It's enough for the double up. Gives them the advantage. 80 low, and they fall back. They can allow this space because they have the advantage.
Goes down. Who stop onto his flower pot. EK gonna try and make the work. Spots both. Tapping away towards new box. Dark falls as well, and are actually falling apart at the seams. What a retake coming through from Vietnam. There is nobody coming in for that 4-on-3 fight. That is beautiful. The post bar is not strong enough. Vietnam made this a 2-round game. With the bomb plant, Malaysia could be tempted to buy here. I actually think that would be maybe even argue the wrong decision, because they're coming in with, if they want rifles, not a lot of utility, or they have to take hits in terms of lesser rifles, the Galils, for example. It's not a premium buy, is the way I look at it, which, again, gives another good opportunity to Vietnam.
Yeah, just the 1 AK. They've got Galils instead around, but... I mean, Galils against unarmored or unhead armored opponents would matter, but they've all got head armor, so it doesn't matter. And it's 4 AKs on Vietnam's side, so they're very happy as far as CTs go. What a resurgence this has been on this CT side. This banana fight's going to be everything. Huge HE. Hence the best. Very wounded off the back of it.
All away. A lot of damage being dealt. In all fairness, both ways via the util. Each taking a fair, decent tag as well. The bomb not committed. Towards the bottom of Banana, but making a little move up here, Arjun. Going to join the pack. And it looks like they're dragging numbers back away from that mid control to commit to this. Just a little bit of a lurk play with smoke out long to keep attention drawn. In all fairness, it's done exactly that. Still 3 towards A.
Check the utility on the CT defenders. That smoke towards half wall was a T smoke to drop the molly. So they've still got 2 smokes left. They dropped the first at 51 seconds. That means they can drop the second one at around, what, 32 or so? And essentially can lock this off. Esports can even bring over another smoke. So, yeah, this one gets dropped now. 35 seconds. You got another one in the next 15. And an incendiary. This is going to be very hard for Malaysia to break through. And especially with Universe getting ahead. Getting 3 kills, not even through the smoke. It's perfection. Sam locks it down with the double. And we've got a 1-round game.
I can't believe it. I mean, granted, the team kill comes in, but honestly, we'll take him. You got in the way of the frag. You're going to fall with them as well. That is a beautiful hold. You're spot on. The util belt over towards our CT side was so damn strong. And that round was confirmed, basically, before it even started on the execute. They could keep just replenishing smokes nice and simply, nice and easily. So, I want to see 10-9. 1-round game. No true buy to come through here. And kind of goes back to what I was saying into that previous round. I'm not a huge fan of the full buy there. I would have rather them half buy that and full bought here. Having all of, you know, the externalities. Maybe even an AWP as well if they'd gone for a low enough buy in the hands of Argent or something of the sort. So
they were just too slow, I felt. Like they got that control early and then like they just paused before progressing past half wall. If they'd actually put the pressure on when they got to half wall, they could have really overwhelmed. The HG did so much damage, but then there was no follow-up.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think you're spot on. They give an opportunity for the rotation to come through, for Vietnam to set up, a decent crossfire, make it work. D-Day going to come through. Bit of chip damage, nothing too drastic. Another decision about a force here with Galils and Mac 10. These are really risky buys where it feels like Malaysia, at least in a kind of mental state, are a bit tilted. Oh, and the best. Like that?
I'm not sure. Maybe we should just look at the minimap, but that's costly. A huge mistake, a huge blunder. And it's allowed Malaysia to break through. They've taken down all the defenders. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Perhaps it was just a bit of a late response or a lag out or what, but Malaysia quickly capitalized on that. And after this heroic CT defense, it's all fallen apart. Universe in a 1v4 spotted from above and she'll fall. So Malaysia stem the bleeding and get to 11.
Wow. I'm going to assume that NCBS lagged out or something. The reaction, regardless, was a second, 2.5 late, right? I mean, should have realistically got at the bare minimum 1. But the way the left IP can swing in out towards long, probably a couple before she was, kind of inevitably going to fall there. Doesn't even fight. So they kind of get that control for free. They're wrapping towards the site. That's tough. That is, that's a real tough one. Man, that could be so influential. That actually could be what spurs Malaysia back on and maybe even gives them this map in the end.
That'd be a brutal way to lose it after such a hard-fought comeback into it. But still have everything into this round. So it's not like it crippled them. It's not like it denied them the weapons into this one. And Sebastian whips out the AWP into this round. So that's the change up. Finally, Vietnam used an AWP. Our first time actually seeing it. And it might get to be utilized because it's out towards long and Malaysia, they're going to move back over towards A.
Yeah, smoke down towards mid. It's the best with the holding behind it. Good to see as well that we are getting in both sides the AWP out. I came in towards this map saying Sebastian's looking at you. Get the AWP out. She has. So already a positive in my books. Now just hoping can use it the same way that Argent was on her CT side. She's parked up. First chance is a miss, and a Molotov might come down, but they're going to get out in front of it. The flash is a beaut.
Yeah, again, a bit of a misplay from her. Just being too exposed. But still defenders present. Noti doing everything from Pip, but she has to reload out of ammo. The double kill at least puts it into the 2-on-2. Bomb picked up from the site, and it's going to be planted safely for Pip. No utility save a single flashbang in the hands of Universe, and Sam's is low. So Molotov gets picked up. is going to flush out the position, but that counter, one that lands in short, just makes it all the more difficult. Sam's is one shot off death. That's not even her that runs through the smoke. It's Universe. That one's a lockdown from 80. And again, I don't want to point fingers too heavily, but that position from Enstabest, it felt like it was guaranteed one, and she doesn't get anything.
Yeah, no, you are spot on. You're spot on. And now, it's, again, like you said, not just going to point fingers, but that one round where Enstabest is sort of lagged out or whatever, spurs Malaysia on to probably what is now seeing this map off. It felt like Vietnam were undefeatable for a while, and then they get one out of nowhere, and it just breaks the back of Vietnam. And look at what they've got in terms of a buy here. Triple MP9. A big hope. And she a big nade. Let's go deep, in all fairness. Decent tag damage. The flash is great, though, as they go through this smoke. Enstabest gets one. Oh, it's a team kill in the way. So B's open.
A lot of damage done, though. So it's not out of the woods yet. There's definitely a chance. 18 Argent, incredibly low, and there are HEs in play, so a well-timed grenade could be the difference maker. And it's a double up in towards Dark, spotted out. Now they know both players, or two players, were tucked there. Argent just trying to fight forward, and she wins out the fight, looking for the second. Argent's found the double up, and it's all on to Noti. She knows where both these players are. But flushing them out's going to be tricky, and this position from Argent is perfection. A triple kill from her. Malaysia will take Inferno, but it wasn't without its difficulties.
Made to work for it. No two ways about it. Honestly, Vietnam at one point looked like they were about to pull off a miraculous comeback, about to make that run kind of a real sort of conversation, and potentially even talk about that 2-0, but it's not to be. Now, third flap, a decider needed in this series. We'll be heading towards Anubis. But before we do that, we'll take a look through some of the highlights of what started. This is the thing with this game. It was so back and forth. There was these periods where Vietnam looked very good. Then Malaysia took control, snowballed quite well. Vietnam found that form once again. It was so back and forth that it was so difficult to call. But I think Malaysia, in a similar fashion to kind of what Vietnam had in map number 1, they recovered well. They didn't look really out in this game all too much for a while. They started to make it competitive when the guns came out, and then, thankfully, we're able to see off the half and then spiral quite positively off the back of it too.
Yeah, this one's going to be frustrating for Vietnam because they should have won so many rounds that they didn't. And when it comes down to what, 4 rounds at the end, that's devastating, because I think there was at least 6 or 7 rounds that came down to either a 1vx being won out by Malaysia, or just a missed opportunity. One kill doesn't get confirmed, or one spot that doesn't get cleared, and that's enough for Malaysia to capitalize. And all credit to Malaysia for being able to capitalize on all of those small individual mistakes and to win out the clutches, because that's what got them over in the end, because the individuals still look good from Vietnam. But you could see some of that discomfort with the map, and the fact that Malaysia are very comfortable on it, that was the big difference.
Yeah, and I think, kind of following from that point, when you look towards our decider, Anubis, it makes me question who is actually going to be the most comfortable with it. It's still a map in which is relatively new in kind of consideration. It still has these gimmicks about it, still has these new things that come up, these strats, and the way you like to approach it. I look at it on the side and say, who's actually going to be the one to just find that comfort, that level where they know that they can play out. Both sides, at least we know in terms of what we've seen so far, the first 2 ups, mechanically are very solid. But it's actually, like you kind of we're talking about, who actually has the strats, who has the understanding, who's done a bit of that server work. And for Vietnam, it was kind of safe to say that they haven't done as much in that map. Take a look at the scoreboard at the end. And the substitute, Linden Dew, looking pretty damn good. 16 kills to her name, but over on the other side, 80, very solid. Kukin Cat, and of course Ikigai. I mean, all really kind of complain. 16 kills across the board.
Yeah, I think overall it was just very even, just across both teams, and I think that reflects in that scoreline. 4 rounds, the difference at the end of the conclusion. And I think the big notable kind of difference between this and Ancient is we didn't have that insane carry performance from a single player. Enstabest single-handedly, it felt, took Vietnam over on Ancient, with Universe being that one step behind her. But This time around, it was just a team effort from both squads, and Malaysia were the team that came through with, as we've been saying, just a lot more comfort on the map and their protocols and all the rest, just able to be that little bit better to take them over the line.
Yeah, no, exactly that. And it sets things up heading in towards that third and final decider. This is an even game, an open game. And for those who may be only just joining us midway through, don't really know what's going on, it's best of 3. It's now down to the third map. Winner of the third map will be going to Chengdu, China for the Asia Championships. Have a chance to qualify to the World Esports Championships in Riyadh in November. So, yeah, a lot to play for. Basically, it essentially comes down to basically more or less being a best of 1 to decide who is going to be going towards the Asia Championships, which is pretty sick. We've already confirmed 1 team in with Hong Kong, China earlier today, and a second in more or less about an hour's time or so will be locked in place as well.
Yeah, so don't go anywhere because we've got a very exciting map 3 coming up in Anubis, a map that we're not really sure kind of what to expect from these two teams. It was put through as a decider. There was an opportunity to go to Mirage and it was banned out. They decided we're going to take it to Anubis instead. It's a map that we've seen a lot through a few of the different qualifiers. It featured in almost every game that we covered in the women's scene in Africa, so it's good to see a new map coming through here in this Chengdu qualifier. For now, we go to a short break. When we come back, we'll be getting into that map number 3. Vietnam couldn't quite pull off the comeback, which means now we go to this third map, Anubis. I'm excited to see what both these teams can show on this map.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite an interesting situation we're going to put ourselves in, because I feel like, at least for me, both maps are not won on the individuals. They're lost on the fact that, the thing we talked about, the uncomfortability that we felt in the map itself. And it makes you look towards Anubis and think, who's actually going to be the one who spend a little bit more time in the server? Who's got bit of that, bit more of that kind of synergy and teamwork and all the things that make both of these two teams shine? They do have individuals. They have people who can pop off on both sides, which makes it a very good game. But I think that the real deciding factor is who's actually going to have a solid understanding about how to play this. Anubis is such a heavy rotation map. It's a big thing about trying to get it behind on that CT side. Lurk plays are uber strong on a map like this because that's not that big in general. So if you can get it behind, very quick flanks can come through. I'm looking as well on that T side. This is the only map in the pool which can even be remotely considered T-sided as well in terms of the stats behind it. So again, who's going to be able to put up a strong T-side? It's all these question marks I have as we come in towards this third map. But so far, I've been impressed both ways. Vietnam, good map number 1. Malaysia, good map number 2. And it's a big thing about confidence. I do hope, though, that Vietnam have spent, this sort of 10-minute break. They've had a bit of time to, just kind of refresh themselves out, stand up, get a drink, go outside, just say, right, forget what we let that one slip away. We had a chance and we didn't quite convert it.
Yeah, and I think going into this map with what we've seen from them so far, we know it's in their capabilities, and for us it's good just to get to see a third map between these two teams. Considering this is a qualification match, the winner goes to Chengdu. We want to get as many maps as possible just for them to get the reps in the server and for us to see a taste of what LAN's going to bring as well, and the depth of the map pools for these teams, because that's always the question when it comes to these qualifiers. How deep is your map pool? And that's why we see Nuke and Vertigo banned out immediately, and it's why we see such similar maps coming through. So yeah, interested to see. And I think that this is such a T-sided map just because of the rotations on the CT side and how important it is to get them spot on, how difficult B can be to hold. Given that Inferno was really hard for both these teams on the T side, it really throws up some questions as to what their Anubises are going to look like. Yeah,
exactly that. This is it's a cool prospect, and we were kind of saying that in the previous series, saying again here. The one thing that I love about this is because of the pressure of the situation. Now it is a best of 1 to decide who goes to LAN. Because of that, who's going to crumble under the pressure? Who's going to thrive under the pressure? Look at the chaos and all of the rest. But it's been a good game so far. We've had some pretty cool plays, some individuals who have looked very, very solid as well. And now that we come down to Anubis, which, in a similar vein to the first 2 maps, is very puggy. It's super aggro. It does really kind of shadow out on those mechanical players who are very, very solid. That's the big thing for me. And of course, being on map number 3, it's a nice round to decide who starts where. And whoever wins it, well, a lot of teams still do generally prefer and pick in towards the CT side. I think with how good both of the T sides have actually been for both of these sides, I'd actually like them to start on that T side. Basically back yourself.
Yeah, I ultimately don't think it has as big an effect on this map as it does on pretty much any other map in the pool, personally. So I don't want to read too much into it, but I think the key difference to me between these two teams and the team that will win it is the team that shows the most proactivity on the CT side, because I think that's what really separates the best teams when it comes to Anubis. It's, what's your response? If you're getting pressure on B early on, you can't hold it, you need to be taking A main, you need to be taking mid control, you need to be doing something else. Likewise, if you're getting a lot of pressure in towards canals, in towards A main, you need to be taking B main control. You need to have this kind of seesaw effect on the CT side to be able to beat an aggressive and overwhelming T side. So to me, it's less about the T sides and more how strong the CT sides are that's going to determine the winner of this map.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. I think Knife Round is just going or gone live, and we'll be getting in towards the game in just a moment. Of course, for those who are joining us midway through the day, we've had already maps 1 and 2. They were pretty contestable. Ancient was very decent. Vietnam showed good strength as was that one, and then of course Malaysia on to the back on Influence. This is our third map. After this, we'll be heading in towards the Central Asian region as we've got Kazakhstan taking on Kyrgyzstan, and that one isn't just a straight best of 3 qualification. However, we're kind of sitting here and saying it feels like whoever wins that probably has the best chance of qualifying, or more or less will qualify, as they are 2 of the stronger teams in that Central Asian qualifier.
Yeah, we can talk about the teams that are already there as well. I mean, Australia from the Oceanic region. We've got India from Southern Asia. China, obviously the host nation. And we had Hong Kong, Jenna, who won out this morning against Mongolia. So it's already, it feels a really stacked kind of squad of teams. So, to have one of these 2 teams, both of who have looked really good, not to mention the Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, or who knows, maybe we're surprised by Turkmenistan or Uzbekistan. There's a lot of talent playing in this Asian qualifier. Yeah. We'll get into it. So Vietnam on the CT side.
Alrighty. Vietnam CT side. T-side star for Malaysia, and they're popping in towards the site itself. 4 wins the best. Already a good one for her, but then the T-side just answer 1 back and a little bit better. 3 kills on the site quick and a bomb down. That might be the round already.
Yeah, you feel like it will be, especially with your kit and smoke failed. Sam's relied on Universe being able to link up with her. And, whoa, that's a nice shot. But okay, another one. Unfortunately, she doesn't have that kit. If Universe had found that kill, we would have a 2-on-1 and a chance of Vietnam, and instead, she's going to get run down by the 2 remaining players. But some nice shots.
Wow. Alrighty. I mean, there's a nice, a couple of little pop shots at the end, at least. Good for the confidence, we'll take. But all in all, what matters at most, first round of the ball for Malaysia. On that T side, bomb down, round 1 means a nice, comfy buy to work with. I'm not going to assume there's going to be a force buy for Vietnam. They haven't actually done it at all whenever they've lost pistols in the past. They're going to go for a little bit of a lesser investment. Simple stuff. They're buying towards the next round. I can respect this. Asia. Might have to attend with a pop out here, but they're not being too aggro.
Alright, that's a nice kill. But AT able to get another. This is the bomb in her hand. She gets run down. There's a real chance here, but Argent arrives, and with the rifles, they'll be able to prevent any further damage. 2 kills. Not too bad with just the pistols.
It's alright. You take the silver linings. Absolutely. And now, of course, we're going to have a 4 wide to come in. If that's the confidence they're showing on the pistols, who knows? Maybe we can have something coming in towards this first true gun round. M4s across the board. 1 being an A4, the rest being the A1Ss, and the nice UTIL alongside it. 2-0 start for Malaysia. It's kind of, in quotation marks, a bit of a bonus buy for them, bar those who just died after reinvest in. But money's still already relatively healthy. Lose this, it won't be the end of the world. They can buy back in towards the next. I do have to look at, again though, I'm kind of hyper-focusing on Vietnam. Lose this round here, and this is where Malaysia can, off the rip, spiral very positively and gain a lot of early momentum.
And Stabest put on notice early. We do have double mid, double B setup, which is fairly common. But you expect an extra rotation to move towards B, given that they've lost dark control. Split looking like the most likely outcome. Gonna need to be fast rotations. This mid players have fallen back, and yeah, we can start to scale on the T side. Kissing Cat gets one, Universe gets the double up, triple up. That's absurd. She gets 3 from Ivy of all positions. It's a deep temple smoke rather than on the cross. And that's allowed that play. Good Molotov for the bomb plant, but Enstabest just walks on through the smoke. Leaves it on to Argent, as it always seems to be, and she's only good for the 1. 2k from Enstabest, but Universe on that side hold does everything.
Yeah, big. Really, really big. Honestly, it looked like that round was going to be lost initially as well. You know, popping towards the site, good kills that come through, and they get that bomb down. It felt very positive for the bonus, but it's not to be. And in losing it, they do have to take a little bit of more of a hit when it comes towards the investment. AT goes towards that Mach 10. A couple of kills going to come through as well. It's a serviceable buy. I wouldn't call it a healthy one, but it's better than nothing. But a good round for Vietnam to take. The first gun round, the first true round where they can really make a statement here, and they have. Good retake. Individuals look crisp coming through. That's all you can really ask of it. Now, I look for the other thing. Consistency. Get consecutive rounds on the board. Put that pressure back on towards Malaysia. And responding kind of the back of the Inferno too.
Again, the aggression on the CT side mentioned that this is going to be a key difference, you know. How much are the CTs willing to take those fights early? Universe certainly was. It's only 1 for 1. Argent is low off the back of it though, so actually take that as a win. It does mean that A is lightly defended, and there's 2 players sitting in main waiting for that smoke to fade. In fact, one goes over towards Heaven, ready to burst into the site. The incendiary will slow them down. And it might just be a little bit telegraphed at this point. Extra rotations arrive. Peachy does a bit of damage, and yeah, Enstabest from up on high, able to support her teammate, and she finds the double. Let's go allow Neko to slip in. Argent will get 1 back, but again, that just felt very clear what the intent was.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're spot on. I mean, they just make it so readable. They go for the initial execute, slow down by a bit of util, but they don't really test anywhere else. They know they're locked in towards that main position. They know they're going to recommit in. They do. And by that time, the numbers are rotated over. Anubis is not too hard of a site in terms of the rotation's not very long. And in doing so, it's easy. At second is here to work with. And Malaysia now don't really have a buy to work with at all. Got a Hero AK. That's about it. This has been much better than the kind of periods we saw on that CT side on towards Inferno, where for Vietnam, for me, they were constantly getting caught off guard. They looked a little kind of puzzled in some of these fights, and also being isolated a little bit too easily for my liking. This looks better. They're playing, for the most part, off each other. That instance, though, no. Enstabest gets insta-traded. There's no one there to support.
Yeah, just flying on through. No T. Gonna have to do a lot, and from Heaven, able to get a double. 2 headshots too, very nice. That should be enough. And it's just got the Tech 9, not quite able to upgrade yet. I don't know. Oh yeah, it's in Heaven, so can't quite recover the M4. And Neko ready for that scaling. Even doubles up, so they get the bomb plant, which is something, but the side hold's strong enough.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think the bomb plant's too bad in that kind of round there. I mean, they didn't have a huge amount to work with. They had Tech 9s across the board for the most part. I don't think it's a terrible one. Still going to be a weird investment that are coming through. They maybe a little bit over-invested in that kind of round. So at least 18 odds and going to have a bit of a worse off buy for this round. Maybe Galil's is probably the best they can probably come up with, but not a terrible one all in all. Still though, Vietnam are going to take that lead in their favor. So yeah, Tech 9 Mach 10, double Mach 10, and then 1 Galil. So the buy is pretty damning. And this is the thing that is happening to Malaysia right now. The Lost Rose isn't fully built up just yet. So they're stuck in this brutal cycle. Full buy-in, not enough success, mid to low buy, or a questionable force buy, and rinse and repeat. They're not getting that true buy. They're not giving the enough time for their economy to recover, and it's becoming kind of costly.
Try the B split. Well, I say cheese. I like the idea. The double whammy into canals. Now going to try and split again. Smoke 4. This time they overwhelmed Universe. Still another player in the back, but only good for the 1. Sam's falls. A lot of damage done onto these players, but not enough to slow them down. The they can find this kill. Oh, Instabest is dead, though. There's a player that's walked through cave. Locks it in. So it's a 2-on-3. And now you got a player that's potentially in the back lines that you have to be worried about. No smoke to lock off any angles and one just in your face. So you have to wait for the fade, but Hannah caught in the open. Found Argent, and well, Argent finds you too. A double up from her. And that will be Malaysia breaking through.
Yeah, that's now at least something for the T side to work with. On that CT side, Vietnam going to respond well. I mean, they have at least some money to work with. It's a little bit of a funkier buy though, yeah, so that FAMAS has to be dropped over. There was a world in which if they had a little bit more of a kind of flaked out economy there, they could have got the AWP out. I do like an AWP on towards Anubis. I think it can have a lot of impact. But we'll say double M4, double MP9, 5.7, not the kindest of buys. A similar sort of situation that Malaysia were dealing with. Malaysia timed this game up. They put pressure right back on the shoulders of Vietnam. Argent making a move in by mid. Catches 2 in rotation. They didn't even consider that a possibility. And the trade is good.
Okay, I mean, so I like the idea of pushing Canal and trying these different avenues of aggression, but there was just a few reasons why that failed. One, they were incredibly loud. Like, NCVS just ran through dark and was very noisy. So Argent just knew that she was walking under her. Secondly, there was no one in mid. You just needed one player in mid. All you needed, a single player in mid, and that doesn't unfold like that. You can deal with the player in window, but that gap is enough, and they just get eaten alive. And now you got Pistols running up B main, and you got Pistols killing everybody. You know he's got a triple kill, a quad kill. Can't quite get the ace, but gets enough. And well, for all of the previous round falling flat, that one is a straight win for Vietnam.
With only one casualty as well. They didn't even have armor. Insane.
It's a kill.
Yeah.
That's the casualty.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. What absolute, collapse from the T side there. But, what a way to tie things up. I mean, they scoop up 4 AKs. I mean, it could not get any better, really. That is, yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. That's one of the weirder rounds I think we've had all series, but I'm glad we still got the chaos and the carnage this late in towards the series.
And that's why you HE, B main, or you Molotov it. You've got to do that every single round, especially when the economy is on the brink. And you've seen them push B main multiple times. Just drop your HE there. One HE would have been enough to probably win that round for them.
Ollie behind the smoke is good. No, it's not. There's airburst. I thought he might have spread behind a little bit, but actually kind of wasted in the end. Flash on the corner, trying to keep them at bay. And they're barreling in now. There's the first of Universe and the second.
Sams gets one back after 80. Able to finally get something for that T side going, but that's all she's going to be able to get. Door slam shut in their faces on B. The rush in the round before didn't work. They go for something a bit slower, and it's the same result. Vietnam now take the lead in a surprising fashion.
Yeah, okay. All right. This is a weird game we're getting here. I'm here for the unorthodox Counter-Strike that we're getting. At least it's keeping things fresh this late into the series. Back-to-back 13-9s. And this one at least feels relatively close where it might have the same sort of vibes around it. 5-4, 3 more rounds left in this half. If Vietnam can guarantee a lead on that CT side, I think that's massive for them. The T side, for me, at least, is where they've at least felt a little bit more scary just because it's a little bit audacious in the way in which they kind of approach it. So if they can get a lead guaranteed on the CT side, I'm feeling pretty positive about them. Still, though, on the other side, it's still a possibility for Malaysia. Maybe not so much with this buy, but I said that a few rounds ago when Vietnam did it with the USPs. So I'm not going to completely count it out. A pause to be had and a conversation to be had around it. This should be Vietnam locking in the 6th as long as they don't do anything too silly.
Yeah. And I think if you win the half on the CT side, you're in a very comfortable position. So sitting at 6-4 with a good chance for that 7th or even an 8th round.
Yeah.
Argent is having a good game. So maybe there is something to be said about that. She's got a bit of util into this round. So looking like they're going to try and set up this mid play. Sendry dropped before they can commit off it. and smoke in their face. So they just have to burst through it. And it's going to send them backwards. So it's given space, but 2 players on A. This split, you imagine, should hold the utility, keeping the T's at bay. And it slowed them down enough. Somehow Noti gets overwhelmed by a Glock. That's a nice shot from Argent. So there is a way in, a bomb plant at least secured. But Argent, this one, maybe a little bit too much to handle, and she makes it interesting for a second, but Universe swings wide.
Bomb plant, I honestly don't even think is all that bad. It will give them some stability once again for the funds, much more fully fleshed out by. They can go in towards the AWP if they actually really want to. T-side AWPing, not as favorable as CT side, but it still has its look-ins on a few different teams, and we'll have to be Argent who would pick it up, and he's going to go with those. So 5 rifles is what comes through for Malaysia. 6-4 though, Vietnam. You're guaranteed that bare minimum of a tie game, which is good. They lock in at least 7, I'd be happy. 8 would be incredible. It still doesn't feel that likely because Malaysia, they do have these pocket rounds for them on this T side where they find their success. I'm expecting one of them to come out in the final 2. Let's see. It's the best with her all. Latov down. Forced further back. And they still stick up to try and be kind of aggro here. Playing anti, trying to fall back. She struggled to get over the little ledge there for a second and could have been caught off guard, but it's a beat.
Space, something for Malaysia. Oh, well, immediately plugged by a few bullets through the brain. Still another player there that can help out if they do want to split, but I think they're going to back up off it.
On now, minutes on the clock. Swing in water. And actually, both fights go the way of Malaysia, so maybe round back on. Nade on towards the corner. Try and catch the AWP and does a huge chunk of damage. It rotates it back over. And they should actually be able to get a bomb plant here. It's not exactly a hell of a lot of presence towards the A site.
Except for Sams, who does a little flash over the top to swing off it, but it didn't hit the player in main. It was a little too early, unfortunately, for her. Noti will get 1 kill. And Stabessa's AWP holding down the line. Although she's going to throw some util. Noti, the one that's going to have to do a lot of the work. Looking for the player, finds first one on jail. The swing, the adjustment from Noti is fantastic. Puts it into the 1-on-1. I think Hannah has the read. They know that Enderbest was in Temple. Pistol out, needs to hit the headshot. The timing. Can't quite catch her as she goes around the corner. It's a bit messy. A tap on the bomb. Another one. Trying to bait Hannah into the swing, and she will swing, but it's straight with the headshot. A good attempt from Noti with the 2K, but Hannah will clutch.
Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. 1-round game heading in towards this final round of the half, and it's been kept competitive all the way through. This has been a fun one, a real fun one to watch, and still, at least in my eyes, I see a tough one to call. I'm not really leaning either way. I still feel like Malaysia have got at least enough left in the locker that they can pull something out on that CT side. Vietnam, we know their T sides have been pretty scary at times as well when they get going. So this one feels very difficult to call. We've got an even first half, and with what's on the line, it could be huge. Argent for the first.
Good kill. And a second. She just blitzed her way through middle. And she's not done. It's a one-woman wrecking machine. She's just won this round single-handedly, takes it into her own hands. 19 kills, by the way, from Argent. Similar performance to what we saw in Ancient. Sams will get 1 back, and given how quickly this was, the 2 CTs do have a lot of utility. They got the kits as well. They're given the fights. There is potentially a way in. But that should be that opportunity closing right there. Noti, is that a good map? The 1v4 with the clock ticking down, half done. I feel like this is going to be a 6-6 half between these 2 teams, and looks to be all but confirmed. There's no chance for Noti here. But how many kills she gets, there's simply no time. So that retake dead on arrival, and we are all tied up.
Yeah, Noti 14 kills for her, but Argent on 19. That last round as well, like you put it, one-woman wrecking team as she barrels in through mid, wrapping through on towards the site, and isolates fights with ease. 6 all, as even as it possibly can get as well. No complaints to be had from us. This is an exciting one heading into what is ultimately a spot for Chengdu. Heading towards the second half, I look towards how Vietnam are going to set themselves up, how they're going to start to find a little bit of tempo themselves. Malaysia, vice versa. They've had a decent little recovery at that tail end there where they gave themselves a bit of confidence, but on the CT side, are they going to be able to deliver? Who knows? We're going to see a quicker play here. In all fairness, we might. That's been how a lot of these pistol rounds have been played out.
Looks like it. Smoke. Molly. Oh, a lot of CT defenders. Not revealing herself, but it's not going to matter. Houston Cat misses the opportunity. Ends the best. Hits the headshot. That's allowed that bomb to be planted. Now there is a kit in play. And the team kill again. So many of them, but they've dealt with the flank. A 3-on-3. Hannah, so low. But all of the T's stuck in main. They've been flushed out. And the bomb, I think, is planted for them. So 80, Gush, needs to get on it. Maybe she can just stick it with a teammate supporting. She's not swinging wide enough. Not defusing the bomb. There was definitely a chance there for her just to get that defuse off. And instead, it's left it now onto a 1v2. And Juniverse hits another headshot. So Vietnam will take the pistol.
Good. Really, really nice way to start it off. Coming towards his T side, play a bit of a quicker one. Decent post plant there as well, where they kind of rely on mechanical prowess and it works. It doesn't always. It can be a little risky, kind of try to fall back on that. But in this instance, I can't complain. 7-6. Shouldn't be too much of a buy coming through from Malaysia. So now we start to look on the other side at this sort of a scoreline. Vietnam have got a lead to work with, a buy to come out here, which basically should give them that 2-round buffer. That is a really solid start in towards the T side. That's how they can spiral. They're once again going to go for another quick round, same exact repeat, and why not? A's open.
Yep, that one's free. It was a B stack. But it's not to be for Malaysia, so Vietnam will be taking the lead. And Noti can maybe get herself a little bit of extra cash if she continues in towards beach. There are a lot of players on the other side. And the MAC-10 makes mincemeat of 2 before she is run down. But now it's the second MAC-10's chance to farm. Malaysia would love to do more damage. But equally, you don't want to give too much money over. You lose 1. So, you take that. Rifle to be picked back up. So it shouldn't be all too bad. Just losing the 2.
Yeah, it's not awful. Couple of consolation kills. A little bit of a silver lining for Malaysia, but nothing that really Vietnam need to worry about all too much. They'll reinvest in. They can drop over and all the rest, so it'd be absolutely fine. First full buy. First look at the other side of Malaysia where they've got to try and really attest to kind of what was actually a really good end towards that first half. It was at one point looking quite damning. They put it back in their favor. They made a 6 or half. They made this even in a conversation, but they've now, you know, they can't just let it slip away again. They've got to prove that it wasn't a flash in the pan. It wasn't just here, there. It was something that they can utilize heading in towards that CT side. In this first full buy, does have 3 FAMASs in all fairness, but still should be feasible to make it competitive, especially considering there's Galil's MAC-10s either side too.
Yeah, they've had to get the head armor worried about the Galils and MAC-10, so we'll be defended against that. Very slow, this first gun round. This double up in dark's pretty neat. So if it is the B split, which is what all signs indicate to, if you can deal with this part of it, it's just a single prong then you have to worry about. But the issue is Malaysia have no information. Oh, the smoke. They're just going to walk through. That's the bomb for free. It needed to be B main that went first there. That was the missing piece. And oh, Genevers though. The kill in mid, dropping down, sparring through the smoke, recovers this round that felt lost when the bomb dropped for free in dark. And instead, it's now a 2-on-2. And the T side is in the advantage.
Might be a possibility. 2 versus 2. I mean, a crossfire setup here for Vietnam. And a pretty good one at that. No smoke as well. No kit. It's going to make this a difficult one to retake. No tap onto the bomb just yet either. Now it is. Tap. Spot. Drop. Easy work. And now into the 1 versus 2. And the trade is perfect. Couldn't have played that better in that post plant. Really well done. Off the back of contact, Vietnam extend the lead to 3 rounds. And a 9-6 scoreline and 4 rounds away from taking the map and the series. And arguably the upset as well. In terms of this side, we didn't really know what was to be shown here. Didn't know too much about them. They could be going towards Chengdu. They're getting ever closer now.
That one feels rough for Malaysia because they got the opening 2 kills. They had the bomb. Everything was set up, but their rotations were just off. A player pushed middle instead of rotating through temple, and that was all that Universe needed. Gets that kill in mid, drops, gets the follow-up, and it all falls apart. And now for Vietnam, they're going back to what worked, to hitting the A bomb site. Although Hannah's very hot in pursuit and gets one. And from the heavens, Argent with another. These pistols doing work. Hannah picks up an AK and bursts through the smoke into main. And she's not slowing down for anybody. Has a whole squad behind her. Sam's is under pressure, steps up for one, and Argent never budged from the heavens. They try and brute force their way into A, and this time they can't get it done.
Okay. Still alive, still far from out of this game just yet from Malaysia. Been a little bit expensive, yes, but to stay alive, they've got double AKs to work with, and now they can come in towards this next one again with more confidence. I'm expecting a buy for Vietnam here. I mean, 3 of them can get in towards a full investment. They might be tempted with the half investment though and full buy next. I don't hate that decision either. Got a couple of rounds. You don't really want to let this gap slip away. So it looks like, yeah, they're going to go for that little bit of a lesser investment. They full buy in towards the next. Half buy, Tech 9. Maybe a bit of a rush play as well here. They like these quick ones where they've got a bit of a lesser buy. It's kind of their default. It's just where do they go? A couple of times we saw this on towards Ancient where they would rush mid when they're trying to get a bomb plant in this sort of round, and it worked. They are going to rush mid here, but they're going to dink early.
Good damage. And they're just going to overwhelm. That wasn't the play that got dinked either. So Hannah is still looking very wounded. Falls back to A, and they're just going to go through temple. Oh, this is a great angle from AT. Oh, it's almost the clean out. She gets a 4K from that position. That was almost a 5K ace spray down. And it leaves it to Universe, who picks up that M4 from 80's hands, who'd done so much work. And she's going to be caught by a cruising cat. That looked for a moment like Vietnam were just going to overwhelm, but they just line up and they are mauled by 80.
Oh, yeah, you love to see it. Especially, it was looking a little scary. The dink through the smoke as well by Vietnam early. I was thinking, oh no, is this going to be one of those rounds where, you know, these lower buys get, you know, a bomb down and potentially a round off the back of that. Maybe a couple of scooped up rifles. This time, not to be. TAC pause are going to be called here. And a conversation, honestly, to be had both sides here too. I mean, Malaysia, one away from tying this up. And at least these couple of rounds that we've just had have been pretty decent. So they've got to be feeling confident about making sure they don't let this one slip, knowing there's a full buy coming out from Vietnam. On the other side, Vietnam got a lead. They want to hold it. They want to build upon it. They're so close to that finish line. AKs come out. And the util. All the rest. Haven't seen that all up in play yet. On the CT side, yeah. I'm waiting for it.
We saw Enstabest bring it out on that CT side a couple of rounds, but overall, it's been it. Malaysia just do not want to use the AWP. Argent was wielding it on Inferno, but I guess
good as well.
She's 24 kills with the AK, or with the rifle, so I think she's kind of happy just fragging. She's almost got the same kills as the rest of her team combined.
Yeah. But ain't broke, don't fix it kind of vibes, right? I guess that's probably the way to go about it. This is a big round, a massive round. Which could swing momentum one way or the other. Malaysia take it. They tie the game up. Probably get a 2-for-1 special. Vietnam take it. Get double digits. Get ever close to the finish line. This one is massively important. Hence why it starts off kind of tentatively.
Oh, Ensbest uses that lurk smoke just to walk in, and she's found a double. Caught off by 80 behind default, but that's just a lurk play. It is from the rotations, and these rotations might be enough. Vietnam, oh, you had such a good advantage, and now they've tried to push the issue. But maybe it doesn't matter. Not if Nuti hits all these shots. It's on the Cruising Cat, and Universe's flank, it's not going to be counted for. It feels impossible for her to lose this round, but maybe, oh, she's considering it. She looks towards Temple, but the timing eludes her, and Universe able to close what was started by Enstabest.
Yes. 10 on the board. Good work. Now, bit by bit, getting closer and closer. This is a 2-round game, which is still absolutely achievable. Malaysia's going to come back into this, but they are, and they have been playing catch-up for a while now, and that can get pretty tiring. Vietnam trying to see this over the line. Only a few more hurdles to get over before they get there. NAAK. Ilda Mac 10, not exactly the most fully fleshed out buy. They're going to try and make this one work. Pot flashing towards main, going to come over the roof here as they fly in.
Flashbang is good, but the MP9 held the weapon for the job. Doesn't do enough damage to get the kill. Eventually, we'll find it. They are managing to get something done on this defense, but the trades are so good. Universe with another kill and straight onto the bomb plant. Neko is holding for this push. So going to lock that one in 100%. And a 2-on-3. But Argent is one of those two. Actually waiting for Hannah to go first. All by design. Universe edges forward, looking for the kills. Argent does get it, but again, it's another team kill. Has the smoke. So can put that on the bomb, can throw an incendiary form, can be a nuisance, make it difficult. The flames, the HE, the stick on the bomb, surely run over, and she is. Overwhelmed, and Vietnam onto 11, and that is a catastrophic loss for Malaysia because look at the bank balance.
Yeah, that is, I mean, that really could be the potential loss there are. I mean, they're going to get one when most likely Vietnam hit map and series point, but this one is a bit of a throwaway. That's a massive round to take as well. Again, just considering the buy they had to work with. But 1 AK, double go, double Mac 10, and they walk away with a super important 11th. Probably that 2-for-1. I said it felt like a bit of a swing round, and I think that's going to be the case here. You know, they've swung momentum and probably seeing this to Vietnam getting closer, if not already confirming this map. I mean, Malaysia, it kind of feels like now it's either play for overtime or go for the big force, and they're going to opt for the risk. High risk, high reward. It's now or never. This is all chips to the middle of the felt, the all-in call on the poker table, whatever you want to say. This is now or never. Do or die for Malaysia. Lose this round, and you've probably lost the series.
Yeah, your MP9s and the 5-7 for Argent. Not the best buy you've ever seen, but they've got an idea, and it's going to be aggression at A. Flashbang forward, but that smoke from the T's is going to completely negate this intent. I think they wanted to flash pop out A main. Instead, they're going to be forced back by that single smoke.
Hey, forced away. A little bit more of a slower one again from Vietnam. Maybe waiting to see whether, if it is a low buy, which you would maybe even kind of assume for a sense of Vietnam, if they're keeping track of the econ and the rest, that they're going to go for a bit of an aggro play. They like popping out of main. We saw it happen towards B a couple of times. Maybe a similar thing. Holding towards A, waiting for an overextension. They're just going to mow them down. Nothing of the sort here. There's just one towards the A side. A second is not too far away in rotation, but they could really pop in.
They want to. They have the player in middle as well. He's going to hear all the rotations. Not offering up that first kill though. Hence Best is searching for it and will eventually find it. Another player in heaven, Kissing Cat, is limping. She's surely going to be done for in any moment. No utility on this T side, so they're going to be fighting forward. 1-for-1, but it's that low HP player. The spray set up by Sam's Neko with the final kill, and Argent, who's always left alone, it feels, in these unwinnable positions, can't win this one. And so Vietnam will find map series and Chengdu point.
Wow. Well done. Really well done. It was the big call. It was the big risk by Malaysia. Going for a force there. You either play for overtime or you're playing for the win in regulation. They tried to go with option 2, and it looks like it's not going to pay off for them. Once again, they come back into the next round with a similar sort of buy, you know, MP9's UMP and the rest, but I think firepower alone should be able to see Vietnam over the line here. 12-8. They've got 4 chances to close this as well. What a showing from them. Maybe a little bit of a lackluster Inferno, but everything else has been really good to watch.
And again, they're going to attempt the exact same play. The flashbang's out. Universe not cleared. It's free for her. She was blinded in the corner. and she is destroying them. And that might just be the killing blow. A regress in middle. 80 sits alone on B. And Vietnam, they know how close they are. They know this is their best opportunity to lock in this land, so they're not taking any chances. Spotting players in middle. A tag. I feel like that's going to be the time to go. Ensta Best just destroys 80. And she's fast into Temple to lock off these rotations. Looking to lock it in. One more kill will do it. And there it is. Vietnam take down Malaysia. And they will be going through to Chengdu.
Man, that was such a good final map. And a really good surge at the end there. Vietnam, super good work. Where at times it looked like it was a question mark. And I think, especially when there was that 1 round difference, there's a 9-8. We were looking about saying that's a big swing round. If it swung the other way, Malaysia could have really turned the tides. And we could be talking about them locking it in. What an important round. But a couple of low buy rounds as well, Vietnam, where they're coming in with Galils or Mac 10s. And they're probably not percentage-wise in their favor. Made them stick. And that absolutely turned the tide. I said I was always going to wait for Vietnam on that T side. It looked like where they did throughout the series, a lot of their best work. They looked scarier. They were very good at changing up tempos. Their mid to late round wasn't bad either. This is a side who I'm excited to see on land now. Maybe came in towards the series, at least in our eyes, as a bit of an underdog, but they've proven us as a really solid side. But actually, especially those 3 maps, a relatively decent map pool as well. They can clear that Inferno a little bit. They could go towards land with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was impressed by all 3 maps from them, to be honest. And I think the CT side in particular was enough. The 6 rounds, it could have even been more. But the 6 they got felt really good. And they were showing those signs that I was mentioning in the pre-map about, that proactivity, being able to take that space, not being afraid to fight canals, to fight out A main, to fight out B main. They were showing that they were willing to do that. And that's what separated them here, because it felt like for Malaysia, their CT side didn't have those moments. There was a couple of times where they wanted to go for the A aggression. The first time they get scuppered by a smoke. The second time they don't clear that close angle. So both times it doesn't work out. And that was the only real proactive play that they were able to present in that CT side, which ultimately was the big difference between these 2 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Universe 21 kills, Noti 22, and ends the best with 19. Not about sharing from the top 3 there over towards Vietnam. On the other side, I mean, hey, Arjun, we kind of complain about the individual prowess there, right? 26, tried her hardest, and a tooth and nail dragged this out across the line. I mean, you mentioned at one point, she nearly had as many kills as the rest of the team combined. Absolutely farming. It would have kind of in that early part of that CT side, but simply put, wasn't enough. I think they did need a couple of more players online. 80 had a couple of moments, but probably a third who needed to help them out just to see this is a little bit more competitive. Wasn't to be, and it will be Vietnam going towards Chengdu, which is pretty sick. I'm very excited to see them and see what they can bring.
Yeah, I felt like Arjun's score, I don't want to call it inflated, but I felt that the way that they were playing that map was essentially, and in all the maps in a way, was setting her up to close. We saw that on Inferno as well, where she come through a lot of clutches on the A bomb side after they kind of went that way. But on Anubis, it was a lot more obvious that on the T side, that the way they were playing was they would try and entry in with the other players, and she would be set as that late element to close the round. The issue was she was often in unwinnable positions. So, if she'd been in a few more 1v2s, 1v1s, definitely could have been a world. But there was a lot of times where it was like 1v3, 1v4, where the rest of her team hadn't done enough, or she hadn't maybe done enough to support them at that point. There's just something missing, right? That extra step that would have allowed her to close out some of those rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well for Vietnam, and credit to them, especially in that second half, on that T side, they actually realized that maybe strategically we don't have a hell of a deep strat pool on this map. Let's just play quick. Let's just try and get it towards fights. We know that mechanically we can actually take them on, and we know that as well that we can overwhelm sites. And, we're talking 3-4 rounds in a row, kind of that late part of that C side, where that's what all they were doing, rushing in towards the side, taking aim tools and backing themselves. Good amounts of util to give them coverage, talking smokes over towards camera, for example, smoking towards heaven, and then just simple, couple of pot flashes over, let's fight. And that for Vietnam is something that they can fall back on. And it's always good to have that. Teams that get bailed out by these deep strats that pull sides apart, it's good. But if it falls apart, they struggle to have that plan B. For Vietnam, they have a plan B. Let's take fights, and it worked. So yeah, I'm happy with kind of how things panned out. I think we will be having an interview as well in just a moment. I think Nico's going to join us, so that'd be Neko going to be joining us, which should be pretty sick to see how they feel. Of course, qualifying towards Chengdu, I'm sure it means a lot.
Yeah, and I'm glad they won. Mostly because I felt that Inferno could have been theirs. You know, this could have been a 2-0. And when they lost Inferno in the way that they did, when they'd staged such an incredible comeback, they lose a round because it felt like a player lagged out or just wasn't fully locked in that moment and lets it slip. And it just gets away from them at the tail end after they've done all the heavy lifting. So couldn't quite get it done. They do it on Anuba. So really happy that they're able to pull it through. And we've got confirmation. We do have that interview coming through. So we're going to be talking to Neko hopefully in a second so we can connect to her. Hello, Neko. First of all,
hello, guys.
I want to say congratulations on the win. You've qualified for Chengdu. How does it feel?
Thank you so much. Like, for now, I still can't believe that it was.
I can't hear you, but I don't know if that's on us or if people
Hello?
at
Can you hear
home.
me?
This did happen a couple of times in the last couple of days. So hopefully we get this fixed. We got it fixed last time.
Hello? Can you hear
Just
me?
give 1 second. Production's just checking.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
they're going to cook.
Very sorry.
Hear me now?
Oh.
Yeah, we
I
can't
don't
hear
know.
you yet. Oh,
Okay,
we can
we
hear
can hear
you.
you. Okay, we're good.
Oh,
Sorry.
hello?
So let me start that again. You've qualified
Okay.
for Chengdu. How does it feel?
Actually, like, I still cannot believe that it was real. Like, we come not really prepared. Like, we prepared, but not really fully prepared. But we come to winning the game is just like a dream come true for me for now.
love it. And talk to me what the kind of conversation was like off the back of Inferno. Map felt quite close. I mean, even potentially could have gone your way at one point, but didn't, right? And then you're going towards that third map. Was the confidence, I think, towards Anubis a little bit nerves maybe because it's basically, you know, a best of one to decide who's going to the LAN? I mean, how are you feeling?
We kind of lost it in Inferno. I think like the girls lost it a little bit, a little nervous, but I'm very gladful that we come back on the third map.
Yeah, and you know, this isn't your first time you've been playing internationally. You know, it's been 6 years since we've last seen you at one of these big,
such
big
a long
events.
time.
Yeah, it has been a long time, so it's really impressive that you've been able to return. I want to hear a little bit about, you know, how this team came together, because obviously there's a couple of you from that roster from 6 years ago, but how did you find these younger players that you brought in?
Yeah, so as you can see, like some of the players in my team has been playing with me before, and of course we have to load up with the new young player because like the younger they are, the better skill they have. So basically we all players just try to support them as much as we can, and luckily we find like the two very young talented girls to fill up the skill gap for us.
Love it. Well, I wanted to finish off by saying, I mean, I guess now after qualifying to LAN, what's the next, you know, couple of months going to look like? Preparation for that event? I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be a bit of a grind, prac, and all the rest, getting ready for that one.
Yep, of course, like we're gonna work harder for Chengdu. Like before, we feel like it's still like 50-50. We're not confident that we can make it, but now we have to try harder, like double the hard work.
Absolutely. Well, once again, congratulations for qualifying. Is there anything you want to say to anyone at home that's watching that you'd like to take this opportunity?
Okay, so firstly, I want to thank to all the girls today. They have done such a great job, and we'd like to thank Reza for supporting us in OEG, and then thank you for all the support from our home country from Vietnam. Thank you guys so much.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Neko, and congratulations once more, and good luck in Chengdu.
Thank you.
It's lovely. Lovely. Good to see as well. And also, you know, really nice to see kind of these new regions coming through and showcasing just how talented they are. But, you know, Lucy, no rest for the wicked for us. We got more Counter-Strike in the streams. We got Kazakhstan taking on Kyrgyzstan coming up in just a moment. So we can throw this on to a quick break. When we are back, it's our last best of 3 of the day. Sit tight. We'll see you soon.